Okay. Why did it queue to this one? Sorry about that. I think we got the wrong one in here.
Okay, folks, here we go.
Guys, here we go. Let's have a good show.
1B, stand by. Okay,
Yeah.
Yacht, stand.
Yeah,
Take it.
they get in midfield.
Okay,
Just
so
go right now.
opposite,
Go to
opposite.
camera
One.
three.
Can you
Go to the gate.
Thank you.
Perfect. Just like that.
I'll just go ahead.
Yeah, graphics 2 is going to be up for the first.
Okay.
Go right now. Go to camera 3. Go. Yep.
Can you
Go to the gate. Perfect. Just like that. No music.
I'm going to hand to Q. Sophie.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
On radio in the Canal Zone.
All right, guys, mic check.
Go ready.
Okay, Ricky, mic.
Yep, I am ready.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Willie, mic check.
Yep. Let's go.
1B, stand by.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live.
Okay, and go for it, guys.
All right, guys. We are live. A little bit behind schedule. About a minute or so behind schedule. Must be a lot of traffic out there. Apparently, 8 p.m. on a Friday night is the hot space to be online. So, nonetheless, happy out at the Balboa Yacht Club, 8 p.m. on a Friday night, Friday the 15th of November. Can't believe we're already halfway through the month of November. But a bit of a compressed show tonight. We're going to be doing birthdays, no bochinche segment. We're not going to. We've got our history show, but we're doing a second show afterwards at 10 o'clock tonight. There's that Tyson Jake Paul fight. So we're going to have some fun with that. But nonetheless, we are going to do our birthdays because I always want to make sure we take care of everybody's birthdays. Alex Reyes is going to be joining us with some information on the Canal Zone Reunion 2025 coming up here now in a couple of months. It's right around the corner. And then, of course, the long-awaited return of Dave Dahlstrom, our non-historian, doing the Canal Zone history. A little bit late on this one, and this was a scheduling problem on our end. Wasn't anything that he was doing, but excited to have him on and talk about some Canal Zone history. But before we do that, we got to say hello to our one and only Ricky from the West Coast out there. Ricky, how's it going, man? Happy Friday, brother.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you. Very good. Everything out here in the West Coast seems to be moving right along. Weather-wise, starting to get cold, low 50s, but we kind of love that. But
Mid-November.
anyways, everybody, thank you once again. Yes, thank you once again for joining us, starting your weekend with us. You know, Willie and I, both born and raised in the Canal Zone. Both our parents also worked in the Canal Zone government as policemen on the Pacific side.
That's right.
Both Willie and I are proud card-carrying members of the Panama Canal Society, and both very grateful to bring to you our show every Friday, the Balboa Yacht Club Happy Hour. And like I said, thank you for starting your weekend with us. And with that, I say salute, happy hour.
Salute.
And many more to go. For our show is number 42, so we're doing good.
Yeah, 42, and next week or the week after, I think will be the 1-year anniversary of Happy Hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. Started doing some shows back in November. In fact, our first show was featuring the Canal Zone reunion. That was kind of the anchor show on that, along with Cassie Sprague and Al, Panama Arts with Al Sprague and all that beautiful art that they have there. But before we proceed, don't forget, guys, like and subscribe us. Subscribe to the channel there. Go to YouTube if possible. We're trying to drive traffic into YouTube as much as we can because of, to grow our traffic. Most of it, we can do it on YouTube. A lot of people aren't on social media, on Facebook and the likes. Zonians are. So if we can get more traffic on YouTube, more subscriptions, more subscribers, the algorithm will start spreading it out more and more people that look for.
And we're doing pretty good, really. I mean, I would say 4 months ago we had 39 subscribers. So
no, it's grown a lot.
Hundreds now, so that's pretty good. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, it's done well, and we want to continue to grow it because, again, a lot of people that aren't on Facebook, Zonians, we want to spread the word to them as well. And so these guys probably tend to look at Canal Zone things on YouTube, and so if we have more subscribers, we end up getting more of that stuff on their searches and spread the word.
Willie, I have to agree with you on that, because if you check any of the Canal Zone YouTube videos out there, you'll see 8,000 views, 12,000
Right.
views, like that. So that's a true statement. People do go to YouTube to get their Canal Zone fix.
Yeah.
And
No, for
luckily,
sure.
hey, I feel very grateful. That's why every introduction I say how grateful we are that we can bring you guys a little history, which is what we're doing tonight.
Yeah.
The latest updates on our reunions and picnics and meetings and luncheons, which tonight we'll be also bringing you that with our Alex reunion Reyes is what I called him on my Instagram post.
Yeah. No,
'Cause
it
he is known for putting together one heck of a reunion, and
listen,
we
that's
always hey, wait. That deserves a toast on his own to Alex
100%.
Reyes and the work him
Salute,
and his
papa.
group has done
Yep,
of putting
for
that
sure.
second reunion together for us.
Yeah, without a
Mm.
doubt. That's quite an accomplishment. And in all honesty, Alex is kind of the face of it, and may or may not be the face of it. I think the Chiva bus is the face of it, but Alex is the one that's been helping us to promote it and help us promote our channel as long as we've been also helping him, you know,
Yeah.
put his music
Once you
out
get
there.
his
Not that he
music,
needs his promoting his music with Zonians. He's iconic in the zone. But Alex, you know, there's a lot of other people involved in that reunion that we'll have to get them all on maybe during the reunion or something, or after the reunion, get them on and just big thank you and support them any way we can, because there's a lot of people involved that are working really hard. They've put together quite a program, but we're not going to steal Alex's thunder. He'll be on here shortly and he'll talk about it himself. So um but again, guys, don't forget that at 10 p.m. uh, we are going to be doing a live watch along of the Tyson Jake Paul fight. Not sure it'll start at 10 o'clock. I think they're scheduled to do their walk in at 10 o'clock, but usually that's going to end up being longer. But we'll be on, be able to shoot the shit a little bit, talk about boxing. In my opinion, uh, the best era in boxing for me was the 80s.
oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the four champs, right? Duran, Hagler, Hearns, and I'll give you the fourth one.
I don't know who it was. That wasn't an American guy. I know that.
Leonard.
No, Duran was, yeah, Duran, absolutely. No, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, and Mano de Piedra Roberto Duran.
Correct.
And in the 80s, those four at any given time in the 80s were fighting for a championship. And
Yeah.
there were some
Hey,
amazing fights, man.
right second to that group was when Oscar de la Hoya and those guys were fighting.
Yeah, well, that was in the 90s. That was a
And
different era, but
Tito from Puerto Rico. That guy was badass.
yeah. Hey,
I
Jill,
forgot
look
his
at
last
you.
name.
TV on first time, right on. Big difference on TV, doesn't it? Heck yeah, man. A lot of people are telling us they watch it on
Hey,
TV.
Jill, right on, Jill. Always
Yeah,
great to
for
see
sure.
you, Miss Jill Burns. Yeah,
Absolutely.
on TV, the show looks really cool on TV. I've had
It
several
is.
people tell us that
It
they watch
sure
it on
is.
TV. Hey, Mr. Dupree, good to see
Yep.
you.
How
Good
are
to
you,
see
Frank?
you.
Good to see you. Let's see. What else have you got? Jill has a birthday November 12th. That's right. And we're going to be mentioning that here. This week, our birthdays cover everybody from the 11th through the 17th. So we cover everybody from
Yep.
Monday of this week all the way through the end of the weekend on Sunday. So we'll definitely be bringing her up, but we'll go ahead and start one right now. Happy birthday, Jill. Right on.
We have Jill.
Yeah, the fight's on Netflix, so a lot of people are going to be on it. We won't certainly stream it because obviously YouTube and Netflix would probably give us a hard time for that, and we don't want to do that and irritate anybody. But I mean, most everybody has Netflix, so but it'll be fun to be watching it, and then put our show on your phone and chat with us in there and exchange some comments and stuff. Like I said, before the fight starts, the TV station or Netflix may be airing some preliminaries, maybe some content on Tyson and content on Jake Paul or whatever, but I'd rather watch some Duran knockouts, honestly, and some stuff like that. So I do have some videos queued up of these guys, and there's a video called The Four Kings. It's on YouTube. It's a really good video. I'll put the link up here later, but it's just the knockouts from the four that we were just mentioning: Hagler, Hearns, Duran, and Leonard. And it's really amazing. It really takes you back to that 80s where, like I said, to me, that was a great time for boxing, man, because I don't think you went more than 1 year without another welterweight or middleweight championship fight. it was a lot of fun, man. That was really cool
Yep.
stuff. So
And listen, a lot of guys our age group don't even know who Jake Paul is. But for you guys that are out there that don't know, he was one of the, if not the first influencer. Actually, they actually said he coined the phrase influencer.
yeah,
So he's one of those very first ones that were on YouTube, and he actually predicted that influencers were going to take over all sports and entertainment. So this is why this kid is, quite the popular and
he's an
quite the
entrepreneur. You got to
successful
hand
kid.
it to him. I mean, the guy
Yeah,
has managed to put together a fight at AT&T Stadium, which is no small feat. He's on Netflix. He's fighting Mike Tyson. It's an interesting dynamic there, between the two of these, because Tyson's
yeah, it's gonna
57.
be good. It's gonna be good.
This guy's
And then,
much younger and he's a big guy, but I
yeah,
think,
and,
I think Tyson at 57 is probably closer to a good athlete at 40, 41, 42, because
we'll
Mike
see.
Tyson
We'll
was
see.
a beast,
Yeah,
and
we'll see. I saw a lot of videos when I did the research on this of the two techniques that the guys use, and
Mhm.
the fight has really got a lot of rules. Mike Tyson can, like, for every one time Mike hits Paul, Paul has to hit him back 3 times before Mike can hit him back.
Are you
They have all these,
serious?
yeah, they got a lot of rules like that.
Oh, for crying in the night. All right, well, and nonetheless, it is
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
yeah. Nonetheless. But
But
anyways,
yeah, Larry Holmes, heavyweight. Yeah, there you go, Pat. That Larry Holmes, the Eastern Assassin, was. I mean, this guy could kill you with jabs. This guy could just jab you to death, man, and never let you hit him. Um, and it's interesting when you talk about Tyson, his knockout of Larry Holmes. He said he did it and basically as revenge for Larry Holmes beating up Muhammad Ali, which was his idol.
yeah.
So that's what
And
that
all
was
you,
all about.
yeah, and all you Zonians out there, dude, how do you guys remember? I mean, what do you remember from, like, the Durant fights? What those days were like? Like, what event did you guys go to? Because I remember that was a huge event. Like, every bar was packed, everybody's house. People were at every people's houses, and it was like a big
Yeah,
deal.
no, the Durant fights were huge. You
A
absolutely were
huge
at somebody's
yeah,
house for those things. They were not anything that it was
yeah.
an event, and
But I
the cool thing
remember
about it,
really one time I was at the yacht club, and I swear to God, everybody in sync. Every time somebody would hit somebody, they go like "fuck, fuck, fuck,"
fuck, fuck,
but
fuck, fuck.
everybody, the whole bar would be going
Yeah,
"fuck,
yes.
fuck,
That was
fuck,
so
fuck."
Panamanian. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right,
Now
man.
that is as Panamanian as you can get. I don't know if any
No
other country
kidding.
does that.
Hilarious. Absolutely.
I
I
mean, you
think
could be talking, having a conversation, "fuck." Oh
yeah,
yeah, by the way,
absolutely.
fuck.
Yeah,
But
that's so
anyway,
true.
enough
That was
about
that that
me.
was that was like I don't know what the equivalent of it would be, but that's certainly what that was, man. So,
That
hey,
was a
Rich, how are you, man?
Panamanian
Good to
thing.
see you, man. Yeah, he was an absolute legend, Duran, for sure. The guy was absolutely incredible. It was somebody that, you know, certainly even for us in the zone, it transcended. It wasn't just a Panamanian. We
Oh yeah, he was
had our
beloved.
our ownership stake in that as well.
Oh
This
yeah,
guy was
yeah. He
somebody
was
that the entire
definitely
country loved
yeah, for sure.
because
But
we rooted
but
for him,
really, man.
against these other guys. It was definitely um, everybody supported him for sure. Hope there's no
Oh,
biting. Yeah, no doubt. Hope there is no biting there. I don't know if there's any rules about that. Okay, hold on here.
Annette, right on, hermanita. Good to see you.
Okay, so Annette asks, share the news of Sheriff Smith. Please keep her and Pat Smith in your prayers and thoughts for a peaceful transition. Yeah, for sure. Definitely our prayers and thoughts with Cherish and Pat Smith. And yeah, we just leave it there. Certainly for sure. That's a Zonian family that we hold near and dear. So thank you for sharing that, Annette. And we definitely will all say a prayer for her for sure. But anyhow, let's go ahead and move along here. We've got Alex Reyes on cue right now. He's Alex is like we've talked about before, with this Canal Zone reunion in Panama. This is something that kind of started as like a fun little gathering, some Zonians several years ago, and really fast has grown into quite an event. It's something that a lot of people are going to. It's getting busier and busier. They're to the point where they're setting up events and they're running out of room and having to rebook new ones here. So but there's a lot of new things going on right now, and some people have been clamoring for more news on what's coming up there. So without further ado, we do have Alex on standby here. So let's go ahead and bring Alex on here and find out what's going on with this Canal Zone reunion. Alex, how are you, man? Good to see you.
Oh, cool. That was cool. I didn't expect a little. How you
Yeah.
doing, Windy?
In case anybody's
We're all
nodding out,
good
you'll
now.
wake them up. And yeah, good to see you, man. Happy Friday, Papa.
Happy Friday. Great to be on
Salud.
SCN, man. Salud.
Of course, of
Salud,
course.
saludos,
Good to
saludos,
have
y
you.
salud.
We were telling everybody about the Canal Zone reunion 25, and everybody talks about it, and Alex Reyes. But Alex, who else is involved in this with you? Because we got to give credit where credit's due, and you're certainly not doing this alone. And
No, yeah, absolutely not. There's a board of directors that first came up with the idea. It was Alan Deacle, Eddie Dolan, and we came out of church several years ago, and we're like, "Hey, are you going to the reunion?"
St.
I
Mary's
don't know,
Church?
man. St. Mary's Church. Yep.
right on.
Okay.
St.
Making
Mary,
sure.
and so we're looking at each other. It's late June. Are you going to the reunion? I don't know. What about you? I don't think I'm going to go this year. You going to the reunion? I don't know. Let's go. Who's going to the reunion? I don't know. Why don't we let's have a little party and call it a reunion?
Right on.
And so we called Andy Eftimitis. Can I use real names on this, or is it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll deny it all anyway. So
we called Andy. I said, Andy, we need to use your house because he has a beautiful home
Absolutely.
On Empire Street. So that was the four of us, and then we planned it all out. Pablo Prieto called and said, "I heard you guys are doing a reunion. You guys know Pablo Prieto?
yes, very well.
Course, yeah.
Pablo Pueblo."
Pretty much, right?
He said, "You're doing a reunion. I'm in. What do you need me to do?" And so he jumped in. And then right now we have Bill Walker also, he's a military brat who
Okay.
fell in love with the Canal Zone and graduated
Nice.
in 1975. So he brings that aspect. Todd Underwood was one of the
Yeah.
founders,
Nice.
and his wife Betsy. They're Plank Street Rats, the Gavilan Rats. So all of us got together and started to do this, and that's like we call it the board of directors because we formed a nonprofit association this year, which I could get to that too. It's like you just said in the intro, the thing is boom,
Yeah, for sure.
boom.
Sure.
So those are the 6 board of directors, and then this year because it was getting so big, and we've always had volunteers come up. Every year there's people say, "I'll do the registration, I'll do the booze, I'll do the rum bar, I'll handle the trash." Everybody steps up. I'll do the ice. So this year we kind of organized it a little better. Thanks to Bill McLaughlin, I called Bill after the reunion in the States. I said, "Bill, how do you do a reunion, bro? Because this is getting out of hand."
Sure.
So Bill has been great in kind of mentoring me. He's like the reunion guru.
He is. Absolutely. Remember when he came on, he was an event specialist back in the
Yeah.
day. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is before the reunion. He had this.
In the Canal Zone, that was his job.
Correct.
That was it. MWR, and I don't know what else. So he's been great. And he said, probably the obvious. He said, you got to get committees, and you got to assign leaders, and you got to have minutes, and you got to
And delegate. Let them do it.
and delegate. Yeah, and people are just chomping at the bit here in Panama because there's a lot of people that have moved back. So that helps a lot too. I could just, thinking off the top of my head, we have 23 people in an organization chat. So Christy Ford, Xenia Neely Morris, Reina Arroyo is the sponsorship committee.
I think Ricky knows her.
Family there. Eddie Joyce bringing the Panazonian, the Panagringo side out. Linda Mirup, who's older than me. I didn't know her, but I knew Marky. I know Marky.
Yeah.
Arnold Sean, he's like a Zonian. He's born and raised here, but he left when he was young, came back.
Okay.
Ramon Inchausti. I don't know if you remember the Inchausti family, Carlos Inchausti and Victor Inchausti and Carlos Ramon. ¿Quién más? Yvonne Cooper. She's in charge of the Jamboree. We have an event this year called the Jamboree.
And that's the big event, right? That's the big event.
The big one. That's the main event. And last but not least, I think is Stephanie Nellis Hayes.
Okay.
And we have an Atlantic cider this year. We've been dredging up Atlantic ciders, but they haven't been able to step up to the plate.
No, they got their own party now.
Respect,
No, but
man.
we're gonna get him. We're gonna Marjorie Egger is representing. You know,
Okay.
the Egger family is like the Grimacons. There's like
Always, they
80 of them.
represent.
Could probably send a Chiva bus over to get him, and you still have back, but that's all right. That's good.
Oh, Roz Vitel is also representing the Atlantic. I don't know if you guys know Roz. So
No.
it's really big, and there's Cheryl Harp and Lynn Harp, the Harp family from.
Yeah.
They were our neighbors in.
Yeah, they're our neighbors, right across from both of us.
One of their nieces, Teresa Harp, lives here, and she stepped up to do tours. I'm trying to get people to go over there and do
What's up,
tours
Guille?
for her. ¿Qué pasó, Guillermo? So I mean, that's if I had to name everybody, that's it. And there's still more people that want to help on the day of, on the jamboree.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, and speaking of that, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of different events going on. So, we want to kind of talk about those a little bit here. Let me go ahead and get some of that ready. But
Sure.
so, what are the actual dates? When does it start and when does it officially end? Because there's
Okay.
there's the schools do their own thing, and it's sort of kind of with yours, but it's not. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a strange time. It's the last week in January is what we decided when we first started. The last week in January. Or the last weekend in January.
Okay.
So this year is the 22nd, Wednesday, the 22nd of January through Sunday, the 26th of January.
Okay. And now you see on the screen you got your day 1 and day 2 items there. So
Yeah.
go ahead and walk us through that stuff, what's going on there, and certainly what's available. And as you can see, guys, on the bottom, there's that ticker scrolling. There's the address, mieventos.com. Listen to me.com. But go on there, look for Canal Zone Reunion, right? Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah, you go to mieventos.com, and on the top there's a little search bar. You type in Canal Zone Reunion and click the magnifying glass, and it will come up as a conference.
Perfect.
And then you click that and you go in there, and you have to toggle through the days. So you got to click day 1, click day 2, click day 3 to see the events.
Gotcha.
That's how that
Perfect.
works. And then
Okay.
you register and put your credit card information, and you're golden. And then we can start talking to you through your email.
Perfecto.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you guys do that. Go to that website, go up to the search there, and type in Canal Zone Reunion, and you get all the information you need, everything, to get that taken care of. So so let's go and into day 1 then here. So
Okay,
looks
sure.
like you've got well, obviously everybody checks in. And now, is there a check-in kind of like they do in Orlando? Is there something set up there where people
There
can get
will
in?
be. There will be. It's called registration, and it's going to be the main hotel is the Radisson Panama Canal Hotel, which is right along the banks of the canal, right next door to the yacht club, the former
you go.
Balboa Yacht Club, still the Balboa Yacht Club.
Right on.
That's the main hotel. In that hotel, we'll be having registration times,
Okay.
like 2 hours, 3 hours during each of these days, where you can come pick up your registration packet. And registration, I use that term loosely,
Right.
and because anybody who's bought tickets to attend the Jamboree, which is on Saturday, is considered registered.
So your Jamboree purchase is your registration officially, but if you aren't doing that for whatever reason, you can still register when you get there.
Exactly. Yeah, you can pay at the door, but a lot of people want to come and go on a cruise, or they want to ride the train, and they want to go to the yacht club party on Saturday night.
Right.
But maybe they got something going on during the day on Saturday, so they don't want to go to the Jamboree.
Sure.
So you have that open possibility, because really what this is everybody comes to Panama and they like to do their own thing, and these are just meeting places.
Okay.
But meanwhile, you can go do your own thing.
Yeah, of course.
Within the reunion, this year we started something called a Canal Zone music scene.
Okay.
So, and because I'm a musician and I rub shoulders with these guys, as soon as these Canal Zonians, the Canal Zone net is faster than 5G. It's like 10G.
Really?
The speed of the Bonchincha is incredible.
Bochinche, yeah, for sure.
It's
That's
5.
No doubt,
Speed of
man.
light.
You
The
ain't
speed of
kidding.
light. Yeah, speed of
Right.
light's got nothing on us.
It's Radio Bemba. So
Yeah,
people
I
heard,
remember indeed.
friends of mine that have bands, they said, "Hey, we want to play. So we came up with the idea to do a little Canal Zone reunion scene, a music scene. So built into this, on every day there's a Canal Zone band playing at one of our favorite Canal Zone restaurants.
Okay.
So it starts, our Bienvenida starts at Magoo Fish Tacos, which is in
Okay.
Corozal,
Yeah, we
And
talk
This is
about
on
them.
Wednesday, the 22nd.
Wednesday the 22nd in the evening.
Okay.
And the band kicks off at 5, and that's Jorge Blois and the Gorgons. I just saw Annette
Oh,
pop
for
up there.
sure, man.
Yep,
Yes,
very-
my brother.
That's it. He's so stoked. He's coming out of his skin. So he's opening up the Bienvenida, and that's an outdoor place. They have a big mango tree. It's right by the main street, so that's going to be really pumping. And
Yep.
then at the same time, the first cruise takes off. There's 6 cruises this year. Last year we did 1.
Okay.
This year we're doing 6
Wow.
because the people wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the DNA level thing with the Zonians. We talked about that last week, how these cruise ships have been around the Canal Zone since the 50s.
Yeah.
Well, let's not kid ourselves. This thing all revolves around the Panama Canal, right? Everything about
That's
this
it.
is all about the Panama Canal, so you have to include cruises.
Yeah,
yeah.
let's. That's why
It's
we're
in
all
our
here.
DNA, it's in our
Right.
DNA of doing these
Yeah, for
cruise
sure.
parties.
Yeah.
And I would like to circle back up to that and toward the end. When we talk about our charities and we talk about the reason what we're doing this for.
Okay.
Actually, the Moonlight Cruise is
Okay.
the kickoff. All the cruises, or most of the Moonlight Cruise, is really like an afternoon cruise. It's beautiful,
Okay.
and that leaves all the cruises leave from the Balboa Yacht Club, which is easy to get to.
Very nice.
Day 2, we're going to do our inaugural Gatun Lake fishing tournament,
Okay.
which is sponsored by Diablo Bait and Tackle. They're a tackle shop right there in Corozal.
Nice.
And it's this one has a limited 16 participants, because we gotta see how we can even do
Sure,
this.
sure. Manage it. Small. Walk before you
Yeah.
run.
And definitely we have 9 anglers signed up right now, and they're not anglers. They just remember fishing on Gatun Lake, and they want to crack a beer and fish on Gatun Lake.
That's an angler.
Get some bass. Yeah.
Isn't that an angler? What's the definition of an angler? Somebody that fishes and drinks beer. Well, then you're an angler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really great. That has a bus that picks people up at the hotel and take them straight to Gamboa
Very
Public
cool.
Ramp, and you're in. At the same time, we have 2 parcel transits and these all the cruises are on a 55 passenger catamaran.
Yep.
Very spacious. We have a northbound transit that leaves Balboa Yacht Club, and then
Is that from Sea Panama?
I think it is from Sea Panama. Yeah, from Andy.
Yes.
Andy and
it's
his
Sea
vessel.
Panama. SCA
And
Panama.
for
Sea
those that-
Panama. He's
yeah,
one of
and
our
for those
sponsors
that
here on the
don't-
show.
Ah, okay.
Correct. And for those that don't know, northbound, that's towards Cristobal.
Yes.
Yes.
Towards the other side to go pick up the 3 people that are going to come to the reunion.
Well, it's a parcel transit, so it stops in Gamboa.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah,
get a
boy.
ride from there.
At Gamboa, there's a bus full of Canal Zone reunion guests waiting. And then they
Okay.
switch places. They switch places. The people on the bus get on the vessel. People on the boat that just did the northbound, they get on the bus and head
Oh,
back
very
to the
good.
hotel.
Very good.
So that's
smart.
coordinated with Sea Panama. And then the
Right.
southbound transit comes through, and it finishes right at sundown at the yacht club. And then you get off the pier, you walk up to the hotel, and you kick back.
So you get to go in a transit through the Gaylord Cut, a Culebra Cut. You get
Yes.
to go through Pedro Miguel locks and Miraflores locks.
Yeah, and
That's
you get
pretty
to
awesome.
see the ampliación, the expansion on one
Yeah.
side. You go under 2 bridges, the Bridge of the Americas, and then the Centenario Bridge,
Sure.
which is also a very beautiful thing. And then
Bridge. Yeah.
Well,
if you've
somebody
never
needs to set up a
transited the
GoPro
canal,
and capture that, man, because that would be really cool to share.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Wow.
You're gonna have people. Yeah, if it'd be nice if you could have somebody, catching footage of that and share it with us. We'd share it with everybody else and start building up. Because truth is, I'm starting to help out and get ready for next year's class of '86 is next year, and that's us. So
Oh, perfect.
would be great to start building up some footage and stuff and start ginning up interest now. Get stuff ahead.
Absolutely. And tell your people, this year, we've always had mini class reunions since the first reunion. But this year we have class of 75 coming down, class of 80 with Richard Grimison, class of 85 with Kim Lauterball. And that that band
Yep.
of crazies.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember we were on a couple months ago.
And then right, they were on, and then Class of '90 is
Oh, right
is,
on.
is trying to follow up Class of '89 from last year. So
You know.
it's it's really turning into a reunions within the reunion, just
course.
like the Orlando reunion. This is modeled after the Orlando reunion. Let's put it.
Sure.
Right on,
So,
guys.
Yeah. No, and I like the fact that because I mean, it's to get to Panama, certainly there's the added expense. It's not inexpensive. It's not that expensive in all honesty. I mean, there's some great prices out there, but
Yeah.
this is more involved than just going to Orlando. And so what's really cool is that, a lot of people are thinking, well, geez, I can't go down to Panama every year. But what's happening is it seems like a lot of it is geared around these graduating classes now, which brings a group in itself. And they're the ones
Yeah.
that are bringing a lot of that down there. So I think that's a really, really smart way of doing it because, this is a bigger commitment to go down to Panama than just, hey, let's go to the reunion. I'll see you at the reunion.
Yeah, let's slide over. Let's drive
Yeah.
over.
I mean, I
There's,
think the bulk of Zonians in the United States live in Florida, so it's always easy to get to the reunion there. But Panama's a whole different animal, so that's a very smart idea to use those classes for it.
Yeah, and it's been
Alex,
really organic.
Alex, I got
That
a
happens.
question.
Yeah.
I got a question, Alex. Here we like to talk about U.S.-Panama relations and our brotherhood. I got a question. When you're going to all these vendors and these hotels and you tell them, look, there's going to be a whole bunch of Zonians coming, what is the reaction you're getting? Surprised or like, wow, it's good to see them come back? Or is it more like, oh no, we don't want to see this group here again?
Yeah, no, we get the first one, the former. We get people saying, "Oh, I remember that. Oh, I knew someone who worked there. Oh," and even there's a new wave of people that have an interest in the Canal Zone right now.
Yeah,
and it's legitimate and it's tangible, and people through our music, through the Shorty and Slim music, people come up and ask me a lot about the Canal Zone. They want to learn more about it because
that's awesome.
Even though it's not here anymore, the area is still here, and it's definitely different when you come into this area. Something's different.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
well, there's a historical component, and Americans, for whatever reason, love history, and so I think that's you have that added piece there, and it's recent enough history, and there's enough of you guys down there that can contribute to helping them out and show them what.
And
what
we have an adopted Zonian, Juan Posada, who's Venezuelan, who absolutely loves our history and our architecture.
Yeah.
And he's now doing walking tours, architectural tours through
Yes.
Balboa, through the high school and the monument and like that. And this is what Alex is talking about.
Well,
This
and
new
Alex
found
is
love.
Shorty and Slim, for all intents and purposes, is very historical music. I mean, the vast majority of your songs have a Zonian component, but that's at this point it's a historical component, right? Because everything that you're putting in those songs that we're all smiling like, oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was me. Was 40 years ago, right? So it is history anyway. So
it's history, and people like Juan Posada and people that I meet all the time, not just tourists, but expats or even Panamanians. They're like, I want to know more about this. What's that building over there? Why is this like this? And
why is there that distinction when you cross from Panama City into the zone? Even though it's all Panamanian now, you're right. It still is a different look, a different architecture. Everything about it is different.
Yeah. And one of our founding, values when we had to create this document to create our nonprofit association was, we're trying to promote the Canal Zone as a destination and as a historical like melting pot. There's the Canal Zone was here before the Canal Zone. There was just the Isthmus of Panama, which the Spanish saw, and they didn't go anywhere else along the whole Atlantic seaboard. They went to Panama, and they said, this is where we can cross. And before New York City and before Sao Paulo and before Mexico were big cities, there was Panama City. So even before the canal was being built, this place was a melting pot, and it's just been a technological and cultural melting pot since then. I sound like I read a book because I did. I can't remember the name of it. It's called Erased. The book is called Erased, and So that's what we're trying to show people is the canal zone was there before there was a canal. And it's
Right.
very rich in history. And there's people like you and me that we don't even know what to call ourselves because we're in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
And we want to portray that to the whole world.
Sure.
So yes, our key audience is Zonians. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But
And
when you
speaking
see,
of Juan Posada, there he is right here, ready for the walking
oh,
tour
what's
tomorrow.
up, Juan? And there's there's dozens of people like Juan Posada that say, "What's this military base about? What's this? What happened to the French? What?" So the Canal Zone reunion, we started it as a party,
Right.
and it grew into a cultural gathering. And by the way, I got to talk to you, Juan, because we have a seminar, a list of seminars for the Jamboree. And they're either a conservationist talking about species in Panama, they're historians like Juan himself talking about the history of Panama. There's real estate people talking about coming back to Panama, or what do they call it, relocation services. We have the Panama Pacifico is called is Howard.
Yeah. Formerly
Howard,
Howard Air Force Base.
formerly they want to come and give us a talk called "Whatever Happened to Howard Air Force Base," and they want to.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
we're not reliving the past. We're using the past to preserve it and to go forward and to create this new, a new paradigm, which is the Canal Zone is still here. It's a geographical area,
Correct.
and it belongs to the whole world. And we want them to come down because people will come and look at the canal and say, "Oh, it's an engineering wonder," and they'll watch the ships go through, but they won't feel the culture that we have, and that's what
Yeah.
we're trying to do.
And that's what this show tries to do as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, it would be great if you could put some of those people in touch with us, because we'd certainly love to have, Panama Pacifico on here as well and talk
Oh,
about all
yeah.
that, because there's a lot of that. We've been noticing another group that we see now is growing strong in the interest in the canal zone, and that's the military folks. We're seeing a
Yes.
lot more engagement there in the social media, even on the show here as well. And I'm sure you're starting to feel some of that as well down there with former military folks that we're just as much a part of the zone. In fact, a bigger part. I mean, the canal isn't built, I don't think, if the military isn't running it eventually, right?
I mean, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
there is a lot of people talking about the last year's reunion. I was in the pool after it was over, and I met like 3 or 4 people that had been down here for 2 or 3 years. They graduated, and they loved Panama, and they were military brats.
Yeah.
And even one of our board of directors, Bill Walker, he can't get any more Zonian than that. And the military is a huge outreach that we want to do because a lot of people love Panama, but they don't consider themselves Zonians. And we're like,
Correct.
what are you talking about?
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot on this show. That back in the day, we protected the brand of Zonian, but now it seems like we've loosened up what we would consider the definition of a Zonian. And interestingly enough, and also real quick, to our vets out there, apologies. We meant to say something last week about it on Veterans Day, and we missed it for whatever foolish reason. But happy Veterans Day, everybody! Thank you for serving. But on Veterans Day, I put a post in Facebook in one of the Zonian groups. Basically acknowledging that if it wasn't for the military and serving in the military, I'm not here, because my dad was in the Air Force and got stationed in Panama. And absolutely loved it. When his enlistment was up, he's like, "I'm staying here." And so I posed a question out there. How many of you guys were down here as Zonians because your dad or your grandfather was stationed in the zone, in the military? Dale, tranquilo, tranquilo.
Bill Braden, which we had a couple of weeks on a few weeks ago.
Ricky, it was about 150 people responded and said, "Yeah, my dad, my grandfather, my great-grandfather in World War II was stationed in the Canal Zone, and that's where it all started." And so, yeah, military, you guys are for sure Zonians. You're part of the heart and soul of it. And I'm working on a Panama Canal construction documentary, and one of the things we talk about is the military's involvement and the importance of it. When you look at the entire magnitude of that operation to build the canal, the logistics involved, the planning, the execution, everything involved on the side, the support systems involved, you really could have no other group but the military run it, because that's right up there with entire military operations. You look back at D-Day and things like that. I mean, the amount of logistics involved and the things to supply people with just food and medicine and clothing and ammunition and everything else that's involved when you do these things. So it made sense to have the military involved to build the canal. And when, as we learned from Dave previously, when Stevens resigned, Roosevelt was furious. He was pissed, and he's made sure that wasn't ever going to happen again. So the next person in charge was Goethals, who was a colonel. He finally put the military in charge and said, "To hell with it. This is your command, is Panama. You don't have a choice here. You don't resign and leave. Exactly. You're stationed in Panama. That is your military assignment." And it worked, obviously, because look what we ended up with, a absolutely fantastic canal. So anyway, welcome back, Alex. But yeah, so the military is for sure a big component of this, and we're happy to have them and include them as Zonian family, because they for sure are. A lot of us were part of that for sure. And then Juan's putting on it tomorrow on at Canal Zone PTY. This is on Instagram, guys. If you haven't seen it before, go on to Instagram at Canal Zone PTY. Juan Posada puts up some really incredible, some really entertaining and very informative stuff about the Canal Zone in Panama that you guys will absolutely be impressed with. If you didn't know he wasn't from the zone, it just like Ricky said, it's amazing. This guy is an honorary Zonian through and through, because he really lives and breathes all the information as if he grew up down there. It's pretty incredible.
And he loves it. He has a love for it, and that right there, period. You're a Zonian. It's that love you have for it. That's because that's the spirit of what a Zonian is. Yeah.
And you can see some of the comments here. They're talking about these military people. But Alex, let's get back to the reunion here. So we're still on day 2, because we haven't even gotten through day 2 yet. This is how packed with activities this reunion is, man. We're still on day 2 only. But yeah, so the transit is going on. You got the inaugural fishing tournament, and then a Zonian reunion isn't a Zonian reunion without a visit to the Elks Club.
It's true. That's the first event that sold out, and I'm not sure it's the only event that's free. So Zonian,
it's like Thursday night at the Yacht Club, and that's the feeling, in my opinion.
It's a great spot. It's a great spot. We had to increase the thing, but the Elks Mixer is stop 2 on the Canal Zone music scene. And
right on.
Who's playing that gig? That's got to be who's playing that gig?
That's the incredible Roland Folse on the bass with his band, the Great Blues Wagon, and they are classic rock. They're going to do actually some Billy Idol. I saw their set list. They're going to do a little bit of The Cure. I even saw on there. So
wow, good.
From the 90s. They have a great lead singer. The Elks Club is the focal point of Thursday night, because the first Chiva Parrandera picks you up at the Elks Club.
Wow.
So,
right on.
And Elks Club is known for like $2 rums. It's super cheap.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Members prices. So
sure.
Everybody's going to get on the bus. There's a 50-passenger bus that will take off and tour the zone, go down the causeway, go out to Pedro Miguel, and then they come back here, and the band is still jamming out. So that's like a 2-for-1 there.
Nice.
And I got to take a pause, because these logos that you see, the Gatun Lake Fishing Tournament, which has a snook on it, the original species, I learned this from David Young. The original species in Gatun Lake, and it was the snook. They used to come up Chagres River. They used to come up and spawn, and in the Rio Grande River.
Yep.
But then they blocked everything off, so some of the snook got stuck in there. And then the peacock bass came in and just destroyed everything. But the original gangster was the peacock bass. If you look closely into the logo, you'll see a ship transiting, just as if you were at BCI.
Nice.
And then you got there's lighthouses all over out there, which makes me wonder, how do they get all that concrete and steel and glass and electricity out there to power these lighthouses? But there's lighthouses all up and down the channel. All these logos, the Canal Zone reunion activity logos are done by David Young, who is amazing.
Yes, he is.
Who's amazing.
From a young age. I followed him when I was a kid.
Yeah. And that's just an example of how God is working in this reunion. People are coming. We don't even look, and people come out of nowhere. I want to do the art. I want to do this. I want to do that. So he's designed this logo, but the Chiva logo is great. I mean, it's not so big there, but it's a party on the bus,
Yeah,
and that's what the Chiva Parrandera is.
sure is. Very emblematic of what a Zonian and a Panamanian is right there.
Yep, it's a true Chiva. The first bus I ever rode by myself, exploring Panama, was a Chiva bus. I thought I was like Christopher Columbus exploring the world because it went farther than my bike could take me.
Yes,
And
that's
you can
exactly right.
definitely see the road. There was always a hole on the floor.
Yes.
Every single one of those buses had a hole.
And the
on
sound
floor.
of that engine and everything about it, it had that
What was
almost that
a
whining
two-cylinder?
sound to it, you know?
What were those engines? Like 2 cylinders?
Yes, man. And
I think there were
And
4
the
cylinders.
steer shift, man, you would shift, the guy would like move it around.
he'd double clutch it, and that thing would be wound up with all that colored tape on it and stuff. And he'd be like,
Yeah.
They'd do it with style. He'd be like, rah, 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 and his hand would go flying up, man. Todo pifioso, man, when he does his gear shifting.
You have to double pump it on the.
Yes, you do, man. All those big engines, you have to double clutch those
Hey,
things.
we used
man.
to hang on to those Chivas as kids when we used to ride our bikes and cruise from Balboa all the way down to Diablo, at least the skating rink. Because sometimes you were going too fast.
Oh, the skating rink, yeah, in front of the Pier
Yeah,
18.
that was the thing. You hang on all the
funny.
way down.
Locura.
That's hilarious.
And the Chivas themselves have a Canal Zone story because the people who drove the Chivas weren't even Panamanian; they were Indian,
Really?
Like Indian from India or
like
Indio
from La
de India?
India. From La India, the first people that were that got the whole business going were people from La India, and they would have little statues of the god Shiva on the dashboard. So the
Oh, that's what
Panamanians
they
would say, "Hey, are you going to take a Chiva? Let's get a Chiva and go here and go there." And
Wow. Look at that.
Alex, right?
Oh, come on, man.
Right here, the Canal Zone happy hour. You guys just learned some good
What
history.
you learn here, guys. That is what you learn here.
I was blown away about that. And actually, I was
Yeah.
teaching school. I was teaching school. I took a hiatus and became a school teacher. And one of these kids came up and said, "My grandfather was a Chiva bus driver." And I said, "Really?" Because she said, "My dad's a Zonian." I'm like, "Okay, tell me about it." Well, his grandfather came over and he used to drive Chivas. I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, how does that work?
She brought the driver's license from 1953 of her grandfather, and he's a bus operator. It says Canal Zone operator's license. This big cardboard thing.
Wow.
It actually was a picture of it, but
So those Chivas were licensed in the zone to drive? They weren't licensed in Panama.
well, it was they were the official ones in the zone to go down to the limits, and they would do the limits.
Right.
But they didn't go deep into Panama. They did Caledonia.
Yeah.
They did maybe Bella Vista de Avaina, but that was like as deep as it went. They were mostly along the limits, 4th of July, and then up toward Pier 18, and then they come right. They didn't go on base. But these were English-speaking Indians from La India.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Interesting.
Yeah.
See, you learn something here on the show every time. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Alan Deco was the one who came up with the Chiva logo. Every year, the Canal Zone Reunion has a different logo for the event.
Okay.
So this year is a Chiva. And David Young took it and made them driving around on the program like this. And then he designed our official T-shirt, which we haven't revealed yet, but it's a Chiva on the causeway. And it's bomba. It's classic.
When you want to reveal it, let me know. Come on the show and you can do a reveal here as well.
We could do it here. It's like a 2-minute reveal.
Yeah. Hey, we can make an event out of 30 seconds, dude. Trust me. We'll figure it out, man. So day 2 then ends with the Chiva Parrandera, 7:30 to 10:30. And that what cruises around the zone while everybody's having a good time?
It's around the Pacific side of the zone. It goes out to Amador first, goes down the causeway, and it stops. It does several stops. So the first stop is the city lights. So you see the city lights. Panama City is the skyline at night, and you see it on the cruise too. But the skyline at night is a belleza.
Yeah.
And during dry season, it's even more beautiful because it's super clear.
Sure.
And
I saw a picture the other day with all the flag stuff in Panama going on this month. One of the buildings there was completely lit up in the Panama flag. Looked really amazing with all the other lights around it. It was absolutely incredible shot.
Yeah, I don't think there's any country that does Independence. They do the whole month. It's Independence month.
Yeah, that's why we haven't touched on it yet on the show because we got 3 weeks, to work in there, so it will no rush to do it on the first week.
Well, that's our official launching of the ticket sales and everything is always during November because it's so patriotic. We're trying to get it's not a Canal Zone thing, it's a Panama thing, and
Absolutely.
Zonians lead the way.
Yep. Right on.
So
Right on. I like that. So, all right. Well, then we switch over then to day 3. And that's when you were kicking off that golf tournament, which again, you can't have a Zonian reunion without golf. That's the golf and,
Yep.
and the Zonians just go hand in hand.
Yeah, this is packed. I don't know how that thing looks on a big screen, but there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah. I probably should have spread them out more on here. But nonetheless, guys, again, if you really want to see these things, you're not going to come onto the show here to watch it. You'll learn about it here, but go on to meeventos.com and look up Canal Zone Reunion to search. It'll give you all the details on these events, what's going on. There are still tickets available, but don't be typical Zonians and wait till the last minute because then you're bitching and moaning at Alex and all these people, and you've had plenty of notice, man. So, hook me up, man. I'm a Zonian.
Yeah. No, you got to get your tickets early. We put the tickets. The second wave went on sale today, and they're half gone.
See?
I think they're not going to last till the end of the week.
There you go.
So yes, we have something called the Ray 2 Golf Tournament, it's named after Ray Underwood and Raymond Reyes, my father, and Todd Underwood's father, who were avid golfers in Panama.
Nice.
And they both passed away in la mano de Dios. But and Todd's father passed away from cancer, which is a big reason why we started to do this whole thing as charity.
Nice.
And I got to give props to Todd because he made the first connection with Gorgas Oncological Hospital, which is where 95% of us were born. And to be able to give donations to these cancer patients that I can't explain the joy that these cancer patients felt when we took the donation of surgical kits.
Wow.
We took surgical kits, and there was people waiting in the pre-op for a week because they were waiting for surgical kits. And when we brought them in, the lady says, our contact, she says, "Come over here. I want to show you all these people are going to get operated on
because
we have these kits." I was like,
beautiful. That's
are you
awesome.
Kidding me? And it's a good thing and it's a sad thing at the same time.
Yeah, but you're able to do something to help out, and you're able to do something that's really, really important and vital because a lot of times time is of the essence.
It's of the essence. And these people were one lady cried. She said, "Thank you so much for a little box with scalpels and the whole kit." Because once you use it, you got to throw it all away
Right, exactly. And that's the reason why there's that shortage. It's not that they don't have cleaning people. You can't. You got to get rid of it, otherwise you're spreading infection and everything else.
And to go into Gorgas Hospital, we hadn't been in there since I went to get my your shots and stuff. It's been a long time.
Sure.
So that's neat. So I thank Todd for that. The tournament is named after his father and my father, who their favorite golf courses, Summit and Hiroko. So every year we have a great relationship with both golf courses, and they understand their historic part. Summit Golf Course is where we did it last year. Summit was the first golf course on the Isthmus of Panama.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
First one, built by the military. And Hiroko, we researched that. I even asked Juan Posada, when was that built? He said, "I don't know, but Rodman was built in 1935. So we're guessing right around 35. So this year the tournament is at Hiroko, which is now called Toucan Country Club. And we didn't reserve the course the previous events, but this year we have the whole course. 72 golfers can join.
Very nice.
And it's starting to fill up. At the same time, if you're not a golfer, at the same time in the morning, we have the Panama Canal Railway Experience, which there's really nothing to describe that getting on a train. There's people that have been on airplanes and 747s and ships and everything, but they're like, "I've never been on a train before."
Yeah.
And
that seemed to be one that was really talked about last year a lot. The class of 84 especially could not stop talking about how much fun they had on that train, and just seeing the pictures and the videos. It was just watching that video alone. I was like, man, I wish I was down there.
And it's this year, working through Tommy Morris, who's I think class of 87.
Yes, correct.
He got us the whole train.
Nice.
Last year we had 3 cars. This year we have 7 cars. So it's going to be wall to wall
Zonians.
Zonians or
Reunion people.
Canals or reunion guests.
Yes.
It does not stop in Colón. You can't get off and cruise around Colón. It goes to near the new locks. It does a pull off, and then you start heading back toward Panama. So it's a 3-hour drive or a 3-hour train ride. But the whole time everybody's out on these platforms. There's platforms between the cars.
Yeah.
And they're very spacious. People are hanging out there because you're just looking at nature.
Sure.
You're looking at people see sloths, they see capybara, they see a crocodile sunning himself.
And this is all in the dry season now. We're not in the
It's
rainy
all
season
dry
anymore.
season. All
Wait,
dry
I got a
season.
question. I got a question. Capybara, is that ñeque?
Imagine like a ñeque on steroids. It's like a big ass
No, I've
big ass
seen them.
ñeque.
I've seen them, but I thought they were Australian.
It looks like a
No, no.
cow.
They're South
Yeah,
American.
they're like the most
It
friendly.
looks like the body shape is almost like a hippopotamus,
yeah, like
It
a little
does.
mini.
but it's got
They
the
have-
little
they have a-
snout, the little small snout on it.
Yeah. You see them hanging out with alligators and all kinds of other, big predators, and they're like very peaceful. And I didn't know we
They're-
had them in Panama, but right on, Alex.
They're
That's-
cool. They're all over the place. They're all around the canal area. You won't see them up in the interior, and probably Willie Benninghoff can tell you why.
In the interior, well,
Yeah,
because
you won't-
they're Zonians, because they're American.
because they eat them with chicken and rice.
Correct.
Those guys are already extinct.
Okay, yeah,
that
was the original carne en palito right there, brother.
I mean, you could find them up there in
that
the
was
deep jungle.
carne en palito. We thought it was monkey meat. It was actually capybara.
It's a pretty good sized animal, man.
It's a good sized animal, and they're like the conejo pintado, the conejo poncho. Then there's the macho de monte with the tusks.
Correct.
But the capybara are more docile. They hang out. You'll see them. They get spooked. But it's a nature thing, man. You'll see toucans. You see parrots.
Yeah.
You'll see, and then suddenly you see a freaking ship
Macaws.
because you're going along the canal.
Right.
And the beautiful part, I don't know, you can't zoom in on the logo, but there's a part of the train where you're going through Montelirio. It's past Frijoles. There's lake on both sides. There's lake on both sides. So you're just like cruising through the water. I mean, it's kind of spooky.
Sure.
Because you're on a causeway from the Frijoles all the way to Gatun. You're on a causeway, and it's really beautiful.
Wow. And most of us probably don't remember that, when we went there. For me, the only time I ever took the train was on the Balboa Rams going to play football. And
Absolutely.
At that age, I'm not about enjoying the view and looking at all that stuff. I'm hanging out with friends,
We used
just
to reach
jacking
out
around.
and try to grab mangoes. Remember that? We used to reach out and try to grab the mangoes.
I remember putting your heads out there and all that. People would go to the game with pink eye. All of a sudden on Monday, everybody went to school because everybody had pink eye.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Frijoles, that's a town out there. Rod Carew is from Frijoles. He was born and raised there. Well, no, he was born in Cocosolo, but he was raised in Frijoles.
Correct.
He was born. This is what I've read. He was born on the train.
Correct.
On a train. Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yes,
he was.
And he's still alive. Imagine if we could get him to come speak at a reunion, man. That would
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be.
Imagine
very
him
awesome.
going on the
That'd be
train.
awesome.
He goes right here. It happened right here.
Yeah, right. Right here, right in this seat. Andy, there's Andy Eftimiadis stepping in.
Yep. Saying hello. And yes, Andy, we're talking about your catamarans doing those canal transits, man. That's really awesome. That's really cool. And also, guys, when you're down in Panama, if you're going to be staying there before or after the reunion, you want to do some other boat trips. Andrew, that Sea Panama's got some amazing cruises. They've got Contadora trips now as well, Toboga trips. So definitely look them up. And if you're staying at Cascadas Lodge, then I'm sure he'll have some stuff there for you as well regarding
Absolutely.
that.
My favorite, I mean, the Serenity, which is the 55 passenger, I love that boat. But the one you want to go on is a Hypnotic. It takes 20 people. But if you go with like a tight crew of like 8, 10, 12 people, oh man,
it's a nice cruise.
It's something else. You go out to the Toboga, you bring a big fat cooler, and you just hang out.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking of something else.
Of course.
Me neither.
We'll talk about that during the fight show at 10 p.m.
So thank you.
Yeah. Hey Willie, there's the Duprees have been posting about fifth generation. Something I'd like to talk about because for us, Mr. Dupree and Dot, Fifth generation means you guys built the railroad. You guys came in to build the railroad. Are we correct on that?
No, that would be building the canal. The railroad was in the 1850s. Remember, the Panama Railroad was built before the transcontinental in the U.S.
Fifth generation Zonian would be the families that built the railroad. Remember, we did this math.
Well, every 20 years is a generation.
A third generation would be the ones that built the canal. So the fourth generation is before the canal was built and after the railroad was built. In other words, the first
Okay,
kid.
that's interesting.
I think you could be right. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
what is considered a generation? 25 or 30 years? Is that considered a generation?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like us, our parents, our grandparents, like that, basically.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be interesting to find out.
Let's put it this way: Eddie Dolan's grandfather was a conductor on the railroad in like the 30s.
We have a picture of him. We want to bring him on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of Eddie because he used to do it on the weekends. Apparently, he would go with his grandfather on the trains.
Yeah.
And
we have a picture of him. He was like 6 years old.
Yeah.
On the spillway. And we've been saving him. So when we have Eddie on, we wanted to talk to him.
Yeah. Feature him. So, but
I mean, you said it first. You said it though, Willie. The train was here first.
Yeah.
Actually, the Las Cruces Trail was here first. If you really want to get way back into
absolutely.
Like, how did Henry Morgan get to the Pacific side to attack?
Well, and we're going to cover that here today when Dave joins us, because he's talking about Aspinwall and Gatun and all that.
Oh, nice.
And Aspinwall is the original name of Cologne, and the name Aspinwall is actually the guy that started the railroad here. That was one of the founders of the railroad. He actually started the steamship company that was running from the Pacific side up to California. He started in 1 year. He started, and the following year was when they hit when the gold rush kicked off. So all of a sudden, like, holy shit, what a great timing, man! Because all of a sudden there was a big demand for that.
Right here in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Little fact. You know why they're called the San Francisco 49ers?
Because of the gold rush.
Because our city is 7 miles by 7 miles. And it has to do with, so people think it's the gold rush, but it's actually because our city is 7 miles by 7 miles. So we're
I'm calling bunch on that, man.
I think.
Oh, true. I'm telling you, it's true.
You can believe that.
Man.
It's like people say, well, the first Colón was first called Aspinwall. I think if you asked Urraca, Colón was not called Aspinwall.
Urraca.
It was called something else, like Ikechikup or Tole or something. But check it out. When you take the train, you feel like you're going back in time. You really do. And it even slows down at Paraíso. It slows down going up to Paraíso, trying to get up Paraíso Hill.
Yeah.
It slows down at Gamboa, because wherever there's a traffic or a hard turn, like the Gamboa Bridge is a hard turn.
Yeah.
It has to slow down. So you feel that. You feel that like as if you were going to the Jamboree.
Yeah,
in Colón.
Yeah, the Panama Railroad was called a narrow gauge, and you can't take turns fast at all.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. That's interesting. That like I said, that to me that alone would be like, what a great trip to have. That would probably be one of the big talking points for me next year when I come back is riding on that railroad. I think that'd be such a blast.
Patrick Grimison got off the train, and he came up to me and he said, if you do the train every year, I'm coming to this reunion every year.
Nice.
That was his take on it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now, this year, when you get off the train, there's a new restaurant. It's not a new restaurant, but they open up a new sucursal, a new franchise, I guess.
New location.
A new location called Austin Mama's Barbecue, which is right in the Corzal Commissary, where the Corzal Commissary used to be. It's still there. The building is there. So you get off the train, walk around the corner, and you walk into Austin Mama's Barbecue, and there's John Carney and friends. John Carney is a world-renowned guitarist, and he's a Zonian. He's a Panameño Zonian. His mother was related to President Chiari, I think, back in the day.
Interesting.
So he's like a perfect, and he plays some really good. He plays guitar, amazing. But he loves classic rock and he loves rock and roll.
So and for those of you guys that don't know, Corozal is the end of the line for the railroad as far as for passenger service goes. It
Yes.
doesn't go all the way into Balboa anymore. Doesn't go all the way to Panama or Ancon, that area anymore. It ends in Corozal. That's where the end of the line is for passenger service.
Yeah, so you get off and you hang out there. You have they're going to have some lunch specials. Actually, all the Canal Zone restaurants are going to have specials for Canal Zone reunion guests.
Okay.
The afternoon of day 3 is free for you to just chill out.
Sure.
But the vendor room opens at the hotel. We're having our vendor room exploded. Last year we had 13 vendors. This year is 25, and they're still calling Yvonne. Yvonne is taking all these new vendors. So she rented the whole first floor of the rest of the hotel, which has 10 meeting rooms in it.
Wow.
So in each meeting room and in the hallway is going to be all vendors.
Very
It's
good.
called the Stevens Circle Vendor Hall, and you can see it there with the little Chiva.
Yeah.
That's from 10 a.m. in the morning to 5 p.m. in the afternoon. That's day 1 of the vendor hall, which is modeled after the Orlando vendor room.
Sure. Of course.
A lot of this is modeled after. I think the whole catalyst was the Orlando reunions.
Of course. Well, why reinvent the wheel? They do it right. They do it
right.
smartly.
Yeah.
You guys are doing the same version of it. It's a smaller version of it, but a unique version in its own way with what you're offering here.
Right. And so after that afternoon in the vendor room, you do your shopping. Then there's a twilight cruise that leaves Balboa Yacht Club, the same route as the Moonlight Cruise. And at the same time, the Chiva Parrandera leaves from the hotel front lobby. That's the second Chiva Parrandera. And it does the same route as the first one.
Okay.
And parallel to that, in Albrook, there's a new live music venue called Teatro Escondido, the hidden theater, because it's kind of hidden.
Right. That makes sense.
It's very close to the front gate of Albrook. So you go through the front gate of Albrook, you take a left like you're going to go to the bowling alley or the pool.
Yeah.
And it's on that little road going through there. So there's an all-star band, all Isthmian band in there. What we're doing is all the artists that want to come and jam out are there. But there's a house band of, I call them Zonians. They're born in Diablo, born and raised, a brother-sister team, David Cabal and Mare Cabal, and they have friends left and right that are all musicians that I know, and they're just going to have this open house.
Nice.
So
like an open mic night.
They'll start it off, and then Fred Bales, I think, is going to go over there. John Carney's going to head over there. Roland's going to go there. I'm going to grab my guitar and head over there. And it's just going to be, let's play this song.
Just a very cool jam session.
Very cool jam session, very loose, very organic. But the venue is actually the old, there used to be a shed where they kept all the lawn mowing equipment for doing maintenance.
Okay.
And then
Diablo?
No,
in
it's
Albrook.
In Albrook?
I mean,
Is
I
it
didn't
before
even know it was
the
there.
pool?
It's before the pool,
Okay.
but you don't even know it's there. It used to
Right.
be a little shed out in the middle of a field. Well, when they turned Albrook over, the U.S.
Was that the baseball field and where we played football when we played against the Jets?
Yes, but
Okay.
it's before that. You have to Google it because it's in a weird spot, man.
Okay.
It's just building all by
Before the pool.
Before the pool.
Okay.
So that's Teatro Escondido. That wraps up day 3.
Okay.
And you got to pace yourself with this thing, man.
Yeah, of course.
You just like in the reunion in Orlando, you got to pace yourself because the next day is the big pool party, the Panazonian Jamboree. Now, a lot of people, Zonians, will say, "Well, there's no football. Why is it a jamboree?"
Let's get together, man.
What's going on? If you Google jamboree, or if you actually do what I did, and you look in a dictionary, like a paper dictionary.
For those that don't know what a dictionary is, it's a book that has information and stuff on it.
Starts with A too.
Yeah.
A jamboree, the definition is a loud raucous party where there's fiesta, food, music, and a lot of people. And I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds
more
like
appropriate for this than the football game.
It's not, I mean, it also a jamboree is also
like that.
A jamboree is like a Boy Scout jamboree or a football jamboree where
Okay.
like-minded people get together and celebrate.
That makes sense. Okay.
So we call this the Panazonian Jamboree. We took the Panazonian from the Panazonian Ball in
Yeah.
Orlando, and we just added a jamboree. David Young made this Panama beer logo, and that's our logo.
That's
for
so
the
cool, man.
Panazonian.
That's a really, really iconic logo.
Yeah,
Thank
love
you.
that.
It's perfect.
Well
send
done.
send something to Dave because that guy is talent like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, no kidding,
He's
man.
been talented for years.
Mhm.
Years.
So
When I was a
at
little
the-
boy, I knew about his art. 'Cause he in a Canal Zone college used to have this magazine, and then he would like
Right.
doodle on it, and he would doodle on it. I remember as a kid, I would get because remember we would go to the Canal Zone college to get because they had the best machines for chocolates and stuff like that. The
Yeah.
cafeteria. So we would get that magazine there, and I remember I looked through it. I would look at all the little arts, and from a little kid, I've been, like, drawn by David Young. So I've known him, and then
Yeah.
he did this collage of
Yes.
like hand drawings of all the Canal Zone things, and it got my attention. I actually did one. Jerry Curtis also has the original, but I did one because of David Young, and I'm telling you, I was a leaky boy. I'm talking 8th grade.
Yeah.
I was, following David Young as wow, what an artist, what a
He's inspiring.
what a talented, artist.
Well, and didn't that become a thing at BHS in the art class to do one of those collages like that?
Yeah,
I think
so.
that was because of that. It became something that was really cool to do because it really kind of fits with everything that we're doing here and what you guys are doing with that reunion because it's really throwing together memories, of the zone that a lot of times makes sense to you and to our friends that we grew up with. But anybody else, they'd be like, okay, it's a bridge. I see a tree. It means nothing. And to us, it's like, wait a minute, that mango tree was at this place. That was over here.
Correct,
This was this
that
spot,
palm tree, etc.
Yeah, everything in it has a meaning.
The flip-flops, like the flip-flops. I mean, all kinds of
And you
I'm
see
sure a lot
that
of
in
you guys
Dave's
have
art,
seen that.
those little details. You see it in his art.
Correct. He really does capture those little subtle memories that all over the place.
I'm really glad that it worked out because the first 3 years we used another dear friend of mine to do art, and he was from St. Mary's School, which is Zonian, and he's more of a graphic designer. He didn't have that artistic side. He was a very good graphic designer.
Right.
But David just took all the ideas, and you really didn't have to give him much. You just had to say,
"Yeah." He brings it to life.
He brings it to life, and he brings it with style. These are logos. They're not they're artistic, but they're logos, but they're very well done.
Yeah.
They're
one of personalized. They're unique.
Yeah. Each one of them is going to be either a baseball cap or a rash guard or a sticker or a coffee mug or something.
Yeah.
Or a T-shirt, with the logo right here. The Zonians love those T-shirts.
Yeah. Now, at the pool party, the Panazonian Jamboree, we're focusing a lot on very good food. We have the chef at the hotel does these little tapas, but they're Panamanian twist,
Okay.
like patacones with ropa vieja on top, that kind of stuff.
Look at that.
He last year the food was a hit, and we said that guy, you got to get the same guy. Same guy.
Very good.
Then we have 3 dance shows. There's the baile típico that you're used to. There's the zapateo, which is where the guy comes and does the little with the black and white shoes.
Yeah.
And then there's the what's that one called? I can't forget right now. Es yo creo que la segunda, baile la chuleta, no lo veo. You got to zoom in on that thing.
Yeah, let me see if I can blow it up here. Bear with me a second.
It's where a man courts a woman. And it's just them two on the dance floor.
Let's do this. We're gonna go full screen on it, and then
chuleta, la punta. All right, la punta.
Oh,
and this La Punta is the third dance where and these are 3 very Panamanian typical dances, but all Zonians saw them either in 2nd grade Spanish class or they went to carnival.
Okay.
And then it's topped off with the Diablos Sucios, which are more of a Colón thing,
right.
with the big dragon heads and the black and white.
Sure.
And they won't steal your wallet. That was when I was a kid. The thing was like, watch out for the Diablo Sucios because they'll come steal your wallet.
Yeah. Scare the heck out of us.
They did. They're terrifying, man.
So those things are happening. The hotel is broken into 3 areas. There's the pool, there's the salon, which is air conditioned, where the dancing will be and the food and just hanging out. And then the upstairs is where the vendor room is. And there's 4. Then there's a very long lobby, which
Okay.
is kind of like a breezeway. And they're going to have a bar in there for 2-for-1 prices, drink specials. But check this out. On Tuesday, Tito Moines called me. I don't know if you know Tito Moines, but he's an organ player that
Okay.
replaced Lucho.
Correct.
When Lucho
Okay.
Escarraga, the famous guy that used to play on
Sure.
the SS Ancon, and
Yeah.
they used to take him to the reunion, he was getting up in age, but his prodigy was Tito Moines,
Okay.
who's a very close friend of my parents from St. Mary's Church and a very charismatic man. He loves God, and like we all do. But the point is, he's like, hey, you guys are having a reunion. Can I play? And I'm like,
Does a bear shit in the woods?
of course. What the hell are we thinking?
Right.
What the hell are we thinking? I mean, we can't bring Frank Prieto because he's in the state. We can't bring Father Frank down. But Tito's right here in our backyard. So
There you go.
we got him. We looked at the venue. We said he can play right here in this long breezeway. It's glass. The bar's right there. It connects to 2 wings of the hotel, so people have to pass through there. There's plenty
Right.
of dance space. And he says, hey, I need help getting my organ there because he's got this big Hammond organ, like the church organ.
Right. Okay.
So I got to talk to Jim Weiss. I said, Jim, because I work with Jim in marine construction. I said, we got to use one of our trucks and get some guys and get the drums
Sure.
and get this over here because he's got to play. So fingers crossed, Tito Moines and the Parranda band, which is their typical band, but they're more carnavalito type band.
Okay. Cool.
They're going to be
More
at
festive.
the Jamboree. More festive. Exactly. And that's going to bring like a whole new vibe because at the pool, there's DJ Caida, Mark Cruz, who's also
Right.
a Zonian from Gamboa.
Okay.
I think he's from Gamboa. Well, we'll get to
Nice.
that. So he's going to be at the playing his music at the pool, a different vibe over there. In the middle, there's dancers, and then on the other side is Tito Moines. And then we're opening up a seminar room. And
Nice.
I've been able to speak to some people, some friends that I've met just over the years down here. One of them was Juan Posada. And another one I was talking to that I owe a call tomorrow is George Scribner, there's Al Sprague, there's George Scribner, and there's David Young, and there's Matt Tomlin. Those are people who capture Panama and the Canal Zone and the
Right.
construction all together, different styles.
They're the Mount Rushmore of Zonian artists.
They really are. They should be
Absolutely.
carved on Ancon Hill on the freaking
Yeah,
Torrey
man.
Heights,
Right on.
They are Mount Sassmore, we're going to call
Kiki
it.
O'Brien on that. I would put Kiki O'Brien on that mountain.
Kiki did his surf drawings in the waves. He always do the wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wave. There's
And
John.
he did the boards. And he did the boards.
And he bought the.
What's
He
up?
has it. But George Scribner, the Scribner family, he was contracted by the Canal to do art and to document in art the ampliación of the canal, which was like a 6-year project.
Sure.
And he has some amazing real life footage. You remember when they used to bring artists because they couldn't take pictures of everything when the canal was being
Correct.
built, so they
Yeah.
drew everything. A lot of stuff.
Sure
you see
did.
pictures.
A lot
You
of
see
sketching.
all the sketching, yeah, the black and white, the pen and ink, and the charcoal and stuff.
Yep.
This guy does that, but his art is in the rotunda at the administration building
Wow.
with Al Sprague. So I contacted him and I said, "Would you like to do a seminar?" Because David Young is a friend of his, and it turns out the guy drew for Disney. The guy's
Wow. What a pedigree, man.
yeah, born and raised in the Canal Zone. He was actually one of the final people that was on a short list to do the Lion King. And I think he actually did do the Lion King. I'm gonna get my stuff all messed up. I don't want to mess up, but that guy's talented, and he's interested in coming down and giving a seminar because he's a very good speaker, and he's very
cool.
historical too. So that's the kind of caliber of people that are coming up out of nowhere. There's a guy named Michael Bolton, who's known as the shark guy here. He has the Twin Oceans Research Center, and he does research on hammerhead sharks.
Okay.
And he's an expert, man. The guy will, and he's also an ocean videographer. So he's got some
Right on.
amazing footage. He's going to speak. A friend of mine, Anuel Muela, who works with the Peregrine Foundation.
Okay.
I met him playing frisbee, but they have these birds that have been hurt, so they can't go back to the wild. He's got a Black Hawk eagle, which is like one step down from a harpy eagle.
It's a gigantic bird.
It's gigantic and it's
Yeah.
majestic, and you feel like God. You're in the presence of God and nature when you're with this thing, and it will fly to you. So he's going to bring that and some smaller, like Swainson hawks that he has, and teach people about where we grew up. We grew up around this stuff, but we just didn't take it in because, like you said, Willie, we were jerking off or something. We weren't paying attention.
We weren't. If you say your kids, that's not something we would enjoy doing, But you look back now, and you're like, damn, we took a trip every year for 5-6 years, man, and
Yeah,
don't remember anything about it.
John's backing me up. He directed one of the Disney animated movies. I think it was Lion King. And
Yeah.
I mean, if he comes, we're not gonna have a reunion next year because it can't get any better than this.
You've peaked. Go out a winner.
So there's more people that want to do talks. There's a very good real estate company that is one of our partners, and they do relocation services. And we found last year reunion that there's a lot of people that want to come back to Panama. They have different price ranges. They don't know how to get a cedula. They don't even know what to do when they get at Tucumán. They think that it's, the Uber is the way to go here. These people will orient you. It shouldn't be scary to come to Panama, and it's not.
Right.
So those seminars are happening at the Jamboree at the same time. We're talking about 2 seminars at a time for 5 hours. So you pick which one you want to go to. You grab a rum and Coke in the lobby, and then you go to the seminar. In the evening, at the harbor cruise returns. This is the 4th cruise. The harbor cruise leaves during the Jamboree. So you stumble down to Balboa Yacht Club, get on the boat. You have to wear a life jacket because by this time everybody's mash up.
That's right.
Mash up.
What do you mean?
Gone in.
Yes.
Block up. They all block up.
Yes. You can't swim.
So when the harbor cruise returns at 5:30, that's when the drone picture happens on the pier. So
iconic, absolutely iconic, that drone picture, man. Are you kidding me?
We and you got the bridge in the background, which is pretty much that's iconic in itself.
Which, by the way, sorry to interrupt, but if you don't go to this year's reunion, you better go next year's because after that, there's going to be some ugly bridge construction behind that Thatcher Ferry Bridge or that Bridge of the Americas with the new bridge going over it, and that's not going to be the same shot anymore.
It's going to be a little bit of a different aspect. That's true. Mm-hmm. You know what, Willie, Ricky, one day we're going to look back and go, man, I have a picture of when there was just that one bridge.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
And the kids are gonna be like, "No."
A whole bunch. Most Zonians have a ton
it's gonna be the same as what you look at now as an aerial shot of the causeway and what we used to know the causeway. Remember back then it was just a road and some islands. They had that one pier and that was it. Now, my God, you got restaurants, you got everything. Alex, other than Amador Beach, there was nothing else out there, other than the mine dock.
Well, it went from 2 lanes to Alex. How many, like 8 lanes now?
It's 4 lanes and like 6 rotundas. They're all rotundas now.
Yeah.
So if you forgot your wallet, you don't have to go all the way to the end and turn around and come back.
Or at least to the Smithsonian.
Yeah, and look, and Jim Duff is putting on there. Some of us had photos with no bridge. Yes, that's right.
I was gonna say that there was. I remember when it was a ferry.
It's almost like that's a 3rd generation of watching that entrance of the canal. The first generation was a ferry. The second generation was Bridge of the Americas. And soon to come, the 3rd generation will be that other dumb bridge they're putting on there now.
And hey, we need that bridge though.
I know. You know me though. I'm very traditionalist, and anything that breaks tradition, I hate it. So, and I do. I resist progress all the time, but
there's the engineering behind it too. Remember, we had Ralphie on. The engineering behind it is just
and then when we learned the amount of people that live out there in Arrowhead and Chorrera, for God's sakes, you need that. You absolutely have to have that.
It creates a lot of jobs, but at the same time, it's going to alleviate. It's going to be a really fustercluck. It's going to be a big fustercluck. Balboa is going to be. You're going to want to avoid Balboa like the plague.
Yep, for about
when
2
they're
years.
building that for
Stay the
about
heck
2
away from
years.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of Jim Duffus real quick, you know how we do that the Canal Transit episodes we're doing with Captain Eftimitis now? Well, we've got an episode in the works now that's going to be absolutely fantastic because we have Andrew on the ship. We're going to have David Cohen on a tugboat. We're going to have Jim Duffus in the locks.
Oh,
And I just spoke to another gentleman, and I apologize. I don't. I'll have to pull it up here on Facebook. My screens are all crowded. Who worked in marine traffic control? So you're going to
oh,
have all four aspects of transiting the canal all joining us to talk about what it really was all about transiting that ship. So I'm really excited for that. I think that's going to be an absolute gem of a show to bring all that stuff together. So yeah, Jim, I really appreciate you helping out with that. We definitely will stay in touch and get this thing going because I think that's going to be absolutely awesome. So thank you for that. Really appreciate
you
that.
guys are getting really, really creative, man. I love it.
It's fun. It's bringing that Canal Zone history. You know, that's one of the things we've learned. We grew up in the zone and we know all about the zone. We could tell the whole world about the zone, but there's a lot of things we didn't know about. We just didn't pay attention. We took them for granted. We
Yep.
never bothered learning about them, and now we're curious. And so,
Now
hopefully we
and
can
you know
bring some
what?
of that curiosity,
What you just said. Now we're curious. That's what's happening in Panama with people in their 20s and 30s. They're
Right.
curious and they come up and they say, "What are you singing about? What are you talking about?"
Yes.
Why are
Yes.
the why,
Because
why
your songs are very historical, man. For us, they are. That's all Zonian
yeah.
history to me.
And it's like
Zonian
listening to
folklore.
a cantadera song or something in the interior. They tell stories about that land, and you feel like, oh, I feel
Yes.
like I'm welcome here. I know about this land, and
Well, I
that's
mean,
what it is.
for thousands of years, that's how stories have been told is through song. It really
That's
is
true.
the original storytelling mechanism is through song. So
Yeah.
you're still continuing that tradition now, which is awesome. And the songs
Amen.
are absolutely fantastic. We
Amen.
absolutely
Amen.
love your
Thank you.
songs. I've played that song of the old Panama when they charted the name of the city.
Oh yeah.
Love that song, man, because I'm a big history buff, man. I love playing that song. We've played that one on here a couple of times. It's
That's
pretty cool,
super
man.
historical. That was written by H.B. Toohey, Henry Bell Toohey III, another
Makes sense.
Zonian. He's
Absolutely.
a third generation Zonian, also the Toohey family.
Ah, very nice.
There
Very
you
Father was
nice.
a
go.
policeman.
Yep, his
Very,
dad
very
was a
cool.
police, and his dad was a military.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, he
Yeah.
worked. Yeah, he did work with us in his own. Look at Jill putting her parents got engaged on the ferry. That's cool. What a great story.
Wow,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that is neat. The Thatcher Ferry.
Yep. The Thatcher Ferry. That was a big controversy whether to name it the Thatcher Ferry Bridge or the Bridge of the Americas. And pretty much it was Panama said to hell with it. We're naming it Bridge of the Americas. That's the way it's going to be. They even passed an official law that said that we
Yeah.
will not respond to any correspondence that addresses it as the Thatcher Ferry Bridge. We are not recognizing that at all.
But what did we know it as all the way through high school? Thatcher Ferry Bridge.
Yeah, that was
Like-
as a Zonian. That's what we wanted to
Yeah.
call it, but it is the Bridge of the Americas. And think about it. I mean, that although it went right to the middle of the zone, Panama still had a right to be able to transport through the country, and so you had to have something there. And the ferry was one component, but that certainly didn't fit it. And
Bro, the Bridge of the Americas is a beautiful name connecting two continents. I mean, that was
exactly,
a
it makes sense.
no-brainer.
Absolutely.
I think it was a Canal Zone governor. I'm not sure about this. I read it recently. One of them stepped in and said, "Shut up! It's called the Bridge of the Americas. Quit bickering."
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
just
And
settle this.
truth is, that's just absolutely silly.
Yeah,
It's you still honor Thatcher Ferry because the ferry was named after somebody, but that bridge had a much more bigger significance, and I think that
Now-
went a long way to Panama relations back then anyway.
If people had a kind of a vision, they could have kept the ferry for nostalgia, and you ride the ferry on Sundays. You're not in a hurry.
Right,
You ride the ferry, but I guess it's a lot of money to keep that thing going.
probably, and I imagine the canal, marine traffic control and everything.
Yeah,
probably
marine
would be
traffic, more than
one
likely. Yeah.
issue they don't want to worry about, and get that thing out of here.
Well, they had a ferry in the Atlantic side before they built the third bridge over there. They
The
had
whole
a ferry,
football team.
and you could you could take a ferry. That's how you got across because the swing bridge in Gatun Locks wasn't. The cars, the mule trucks couldn't get around that curve. I don't know if you remember, but the road's like one car wide, barely. So
Yeah.
the ACP bought a ferry, and they had a ferry that would go back and forth. They brought that back in, and that was really neat. You had to wait, but if you wanted to go to Sherman or go to Costa Baja, you had to take the ferry.
Yeah. Very true.
That was
That's
cool.
right.
They did that for a few years.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
let me
interesting.
round out that we're getting close to the end here.
Yeah.
After the harbor cruise and after the drone picture on the Balboa Yacht Club pier, and imagine like 500 people on that pier. Last year we had 100 and like almost 200.
Right.
This year is going to be 500 people on that pier. I don't know if it's load tested. We might have to bring Ricky in here.
Well, if it's concrete, you're good to go. And then
Yeah.
make sure you spread them out. Make sure you spread them out. Don't
Yeah.
congregate them all in one spot.
That's the thing. You got to spread them out. We got to get a bullhorn. After that, people go back to the hotel, shower. I never said it, but there's 3 hotels in this reunion this year. There's the Radisson, there's the Clayton Holiday Inn, and there's the Marriott in Albrook.
Okay.
So because we we maxed out the Radisson, so
Right.
people can go home, shower up, come back, and at the Canal House, which is they have the concession. The yacht club gave them the concession to run the restaurant. That's the evening party with Shorty and Slim, and we have a Murga de Carnaval that's going to come through. And then after the gig, I got to give credit to Maritza Lantry, who had this idea last year. Maritza Lantry La Boca Gyal. She said, let's take pictures by town site. So I got up on the thing and I said, everybody from La Boca come up. And here comes everybody from La
Oh,
Boca.
look at that. What a great idea.
Took a picture. Yeah, I was like, wow, this is easy. And everybody's here. Okay, Balboa, get up. And you hear people going, you're not from Balboa. No, you moved to Los Rios.
Infotero.
Yeah. And then Gatun, Margarita.
Yeah.
And then you had like people who were like, they're schizophrenic. Like, I don't know, because I moved, I grew up in Margarita.
You got to represent one, man. You can't have them both.
Well, that's the thing is you can.
Technically, you can. You just got to
And
pay
then I
extra.
said, anybody downtown? They're like, no, you can't do downtown. You got to do like San Francisco, because forget those people from La Alameda and from
Of course.
What's it? Las Cumbres doesn't count because so there was that, but it was fun. It was super.
Well, a lot of Zonians lived in Las Cumbres.
A lot.
Yeah.
And Rio Bajo, a lot of people who lived in Paraíso and Pedro Miguel, when the ACP started downsizing the canal commission, they moved everybody to Rio Bajo. So there's a lot of people that their parents still live in Rio Bajo and like Chanis and that area down there.
Sure.
So that town site thing was, I mean, it was just a one laugh after another. So we do pictures by town site, and somebody's got to get them and put them up on Facebook, and then that's the end of the night.
So I'll send you. Fooling around with all my graphic stuff for the show and everything. I've recreated the town site signs. Remember those white signs with the shape? And I've got them all for all the towns. So I'll send them to you as PNGs. You can put them on top of, like, in the corner of each one of those pictures. That way it's labeled.
Oh,
then we have La Boca picture with the little La Boca town site sign on it.
That is really cool. That is really cool.
I'll send them all to you. Let me know. I made one for all the towns, even ones that didn't have a town site name like that. Throw them on there anyway.
That's great. Those are classic.
Yes, 100% they are. You don't see those anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, our stop signs were classic. Remember Spanish and English?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, I see John Hewsome chiming in. John is full of facts. But John Hewsome is a wonderful Christian man, loves the Holy Spirit that flows through him like it flows through all of us. But this guy has been a very big proponent of the Canal Zone reunion, and he's given us a platform through the Canal Society on their Facebook page. And it's something that I really want to talk about and be very clear to people, is that the Canal Zone reunion is the Orlando reunion in Panama.
Yes.
It's one and the same. I remember Ricky talking about the Canal Zone reunion when you were there this summer, where you walk into that reunion and you're like, who's that? Where's that? Who? Huh? And it doesn't matter where you are. If you're Zonians and you're with Zonians and with your people, that's the real important part.
Correct.
So John has given us that voice to say, hey, head on down to Panama or head up here. And I don't know how to say it. The word that comes to mind is, sadly, I hear people say, hey, Alex, I love your reunion down there. The Orlando reunion is going to die. I say, don't say that.
Yeah.
That's not what this is about.
Correct.
We should augment each other. We should feed off of each other.
Well, like I said, one of the things you notice with your reunion, because of the fact that it's a trip to Panama, and that's not an easy undertaking for a lot of people. That one is a lot. I feel like it's more aligned with the graduating classes because it's a great way to do it. Where I'm going next year because the class of '86 is doing it. Right. I'm not
Yeah.
sure that I can afford to go every year to your point, but I go to the reunion here in Orlando every year because it's right down the street, so they're both an important part of it. The Panama reunion has its own unique, special, feeling to it, but it is all part of the whole group of us Zonians celebrating this wonderful legacy of living and growing up in the Canal Zone. So
Yeah.
I hear stuff like that. It's like, come on, whatever.
And
You know what? I would like to find out too the numbers because to me, this past reunion, was packed. That was not a reunion that just seemed to have lessened in
Correct.
participation.
Correct.
Quite the opposite. It looked like there was more.
Well, I hadn't been to an Orlando reunion in 4 or 5 years, and I did notice a notable difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, I mean, even Wednesday night, I remember I said that I arrived Wednesday night and the amount of people that I saw Wednesday night was amazing. I was like, man, this is gonna be a great reunion.
Saying, I'm saying it was less.
Oh, I thought it was more.
Okay.
Oh, you said less people?
I was saying less because I remember in the Panazonian ball, which was the big ball Saturday night, that hallway to get to the ball, you could not get to the ball because everybody was outside and there was 3 bars outside. This year there was only 1 bar outside.
Right.
And a short line. And that impacted me. And I don't know if people are still coming out of the COVID or what.
Well, I think part of that though, I think that the people were inside, and I know that Bill McLaughlin had said that they wanted to not have the bars outside so much because people congregate out there, and we want people to go inside, and so we
inside, right? Yeah.
But
But even inside was kind of empty because I did go inside.
But like I said, I arrived Wednesday night, and about 9:00 at night, I'm walking through there, and the amount of people I said hello to before I had even gotten close to the desk to register to check into the hotel, I was amazed at how many people there. I'm thinking, man, this is gonna be a good reunion. It's like it's a big crowd.
Well, there's certain spots that were
packed. But in all honesty, guys, these are both great reunions. They're both part of the same family of getting together and celebrating, the good fortune that the Lord gave us to be able to grow up down there together and all that. So
yeah, and we want to share that.
Exactly.
People walk by. You see it in Orlando. People walk by. Remember, there was the blind people convention. They would walk through and go, "What's all this fun and happiness happening over here?" Oh,
yeah.
And we see that every year in Orlando reunions. There's another thing. People walk by and go, "What in the heck is up with these happy people?"
Yeah, it's really awesome. And the only one that obviously probably didn't work out so well was having that Alcoholics Anonymous convention.
The double A, I was gonna say those people
probably wasn't a good idea. That was kind of I'm sure. Listen, I'm sure in August there was a lot of people getting a 1-day chip, all of us all over again because man, they went to Orlando to celebrate their sobriety and they ran into a bunch of Zonians. Man.
Zonians,
7 in the morning, cracking open a beer, man. Hey, how you doing, man? So.
Yeah, when the Zonians walk around with the drink, it's a glass this big.
Yes, it is.
Glass like this. It's the big
Absolutely,
glass.
man.
Hey, but you know what? Let me break the urban myth. The urban myth. I gotta crack it open because to come to Panama is not that expensive. If you're flying from California to Miami or to Orlando, it's the same price. If you're flying from New York to Panama to Orlando, or if you're flying to Orlando during summer, which is high season and Disney. It's not cheap. It's $400 or $500. To come to Panama is about the same. Yeah. That's another reason why we chose the date we did, because it's after Christmas where prices go up, and it's before Carnival where prices go up again.
Sure.
So in that little pocket.
Good thinking. And we're still in the dry season, so you can enjoy all the great weather in Panama. You're not rained out for half the stuff.
I think that's why Jerry also picked that weekend.
Yes.
Correct.
It's dry season. The water current's changing. The fish are coming in. So next year, instead of the Gatun Lake the Gatun Lake fishing tournament is the beginning of what we want to do is the offshore fishing tournament. But back to the pricing. Uber in Panama anywhere is like $3. And
Nice.
Uber's the way to go. You don't have to rent a car when you're in Panama.
Very
You can
nice.
take the train. Now you can take the train, the
The
metro,
Metro.
from the Cucuman Airport straight to Albrook Mall, get out and go to the Albrook Hotel, which is the Marriott.
Nice.
The Marriott Hotel is $120 a night, which is
Wow.
which is the expensive one. The Radisson is $85 a night, and it includes breakfast. And the Holiday Inn on Clayton, which overlooks Miraflores Locks, is $85 a night, includes breakfast. So it might cost a little money to get here, but once you're here, the
Sure.
hotels and transportation are very cheap.
Yeah, and that's one thing for sure in Orlando. I mean, there's nothing cheap there. Let's not kid ourselves. There's nothing cheap in Orlando for that
$60
reunion.
to go.
Yeah.
$60 to go from Uber
Absolutely.
from the airport.
Absolutely.
And check out Mr. Duffus, man. That's awesome, dude. People were at the Super Bowl. And they
Yes.
said
Yeah.
that-
How about that, huh? It's
That's
true.
awesome. I love the Tampa reunions, dude. I'm a born and raised reunioner. My dad would go to reunion every chance he could get.
Right.
So
Right.
I was 8 years old roaming the halls by myself. You know, he's like, son, you got
Stay in the
3
building.
days.
Just stay in the building.
Don't leave the building. Go.
That's it.
And that was the biggest
But you know,
thing.
that was a carryover of growing up in the zone. You
It
could
was.
run around in the zone and you knew you were taken care of. You knew you were safe if you stayed in the zone. So that was the same thing to your dad. Stay in the building and you're fine. There's a
Yep.
zone in here somewhere. You'll be fine.
And even though your dad wasn't there, there's somebody that knows your dad that
Exactly.
says,
You were
"Hey, Reyes."
always taken care of.
And they have permission to spank you.
Yeah, you better
They
believe
say,
it.
"Reyes, where'd you get that beer?" That's
Yep.
not mine. I grew up with your dad. Put that beer back.
That's exactly right.
What are you
That
smoking,
is so
Reyes?
true. That is that is. I mean, that really is part of that Zonian culture. That's part of that special Zonian culture that we laugh about it at the young age that we were out running around and for lack of a better term, running the streets. But it really wasn't the streets like you look at it up here. But we were. I mean, for me at 8 years old to jump on a bicycle and drive and ride it from Amador Road all the way to the baseball fields and hang out and then come home. No big deal. I wouldn't let my kids do that at 12 years old, man. 13, 14, I wouldn't let them do that.
Yeah.
But that's that feeling of security that the Canal Zone provided.
Yeah.
You were
The
good
zone-
to go. Somebody took care of you.
And the zone, the people, they do take care of each other, and that's why the second thing about the Canal Zone reunion, our second founding thing is we got to give back to charity. All this
Right.
money can't stay here. We know how much this thing costs now. Anything left over goes to charity. So we sat and said, what are we going to do with the charity money? Well, we want to focus on benefica. I don't even know how to say that in Spanish. Come on, Ricky.
Me? I'm going to know? Come on.
Benefica. Benefica means we want a benefactor that's in the Canal Zone.
Sounds good to us. Benefica's perfect.
Benefica. We want to. So we found.
Wasn't that the mouth spray? Benefica.
Hey, we all understand each other here, man.
Hey, you know, it's getting late when you're having these lame ass jokes. But all right,
we found two worthy charities. One is in Los Rios called Hogar Divino Niño, which is an orphanage. And it's been there for a long time. And Los Rios was a perfect spot. Benevolent. There you go. Thank you. The benevolent causes.
There you
And
go.
I'm an elk. I should know that.
You would think.
And then in Colón, at former Fort Gulick, we found one called Casa Providencia. And they're special needs children.
Awesome.
So kids that are born with Down syndrome, kids that are born with birth defects, or their parents can't manage the cost of raising a kid with epilepsy, for example.
Sure, of course.
So those two, and then we have the
Beneficencia. Thank you, Jill. Right on. There we go.
Beneficencia, viste, ve? Porque su padre nació.
Yeah. How did we not know that?
Listen, this is what this place is for. We learn stuff here, right?
Zonians, man. The Spanish is not so good.
Our Spanglish was good enough.
Spanglish would be good.
Beneficia was good for us, man.
Hey, I got a shout out for Gulick, man. There you go.
There you go. Right on.
And then Gorgas Oncological Hospital. I explained the reason why we picked that cancer ward, and cancer affects everybody,
Of course it does.
young and old, and all of us who were born in Gorgas or Coco Solo. So we reached out to Coco Solo Hospital, And unfortunately, we weren't able to make the right connection there. And Coco Solo Hospital is not a public hospital anymore; it's a private hospital.
It's Atlantic
So
Ciders, man.
we ran out of time, but I mean, the vision was all donations go to Coco Solo Hospital or Gorgas Hospital. That just by itself is like, wow.
Certainly.
I was born there. So, and we're going to work on that next year. But everything is going to go back to charity, and we want to. It's not it's about showing everybody that the Canal Zonians. It's not only about us. This is about where we live.
Well, and Alex, why don't you, if you can, put something together that we can share for anybody that can't make it to the reunion but wants to help out, wants to maybe make a donation like a GoFundMe or something. Let us know. We're more
Oh,
than
that's
happy to
neat.
promote it here for you, man.
That's really
Because I
neat.
mean
Thank you.
listen, the Coca Solo and Gorgas Hospital touched all of us, man. And you know,
Yeah.
this is our chance to give back as well.
Yeah. And I'm going to do that. That's a really great idea, Willie. That is the kind of manifestations. That is the kind of abundance that God is giving us in this Canal Zone reunion. That everybody comes
We were
up with an
blessed,
idea.
man. We're giving back.
Everybody has an idea, and every idea counts. And it's not like one person throwing this together. All you got to do is light the spark. You know.
Correct.
There's Lynn. Lynn Dunning. Lynn volunteered. She's going to be at the registration desk. What's up,
Yeah.
Lynn? What I want to tell you though is, chuleta, se me fue la onda. We were,
About beneficencia y toda esa vaina.
it was something like that. I mean, it goes along. It goes along line with our sponsors. All these sponsors that you have here.
Yeah.
Sponsorship is something that is like an art form when you're going to go looking for sponsors,
No, I know
because you
that.
have to convince people,
Mhm.
and then they're like, "What do I get out of it?" Not with a Canal Zone reunion. People were coming to us saying, "Hey, I heard you're doing a reunion. I want to sponsor."
Yeah. It's about a sense of giving.
It is,
You know?
and you're like, "Well, we'll put your name on the logo, and we'll put your this," and they're like, "I don't know. That's fine, whatever." And we'll give you a receipt so you get a nonprofit. You can get a tax rebate. And they're like, "Okay, that's fine, but really, you don't have to send me any of that stuff. Here's the money." They want to donate.
Alex, we get the same treatment here from the Canal Zone community. They are sponsoring us the same way, Alex.
Wow. See?
Look, and
You know,
Jim's
we have
putting
a limit,
on
and it builds up like that. So wow, I mean, it's beautiful. The Zonian community.
yeah,
And
Zonians
how they
always do
give
step
and
up. That's for sure.
share, and yeah.
No kidding. You're absolutely right about that, Ricky. Zonians always do step up, you know. And Jim just posted on here that they'll be having another opportunity to donate at the Kelso Elks in Washington on Friday the 13th during their Christmas luncheon. So,
Oh, cool.
and Jim, keep us posted on that. We'll be more than happy to share it on here as well. And if you got any links to somewhere where people can donate, we'll certainly put them on here as well. So good stuff here. Once again, Zonian to get that opportunity to step
That's
up,
cool.
man, and
You know
do it right.
The Elks is one of the only American vestiges that are still down here. There's the Elks.
Wow.
They fly the American flag there, and all of the board of directors of Canal Zone Reunion are Elks, and that's where the benevolence comes from, where we look at each other and say, let's do something, let's give it back.
Correct. It's a brotherhood, sisterhood. It's a family. It really is. And the Canal Zone is a family. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, it really is.
Looking, I see you got the sponsors up there on the last page. Actually, the last day of the reunion is the Toboga cruise, where you just kind of wind down.
Yeah.
Kind of wind down. At 11 a.m., you don't have to get up so early. Take the cruise. This is a private cruise, so it doesn't go to the island unless you really want to. They'll run a dinghy to the island, but
Nice.
it's just hang out. It's barbecue. All the cruises are open bar and open tapas or barbecue. So you don't have to bring anything to get on a cruise.
Very nice.
And we list our asociación, our benefactors there,
Nice.
and then our sponsors. You know, each one of these sponsors is a special person. Upmarket is the De La Guardia family: Pablo De La Guardia, Augusto De La Guardia, Diablo Boys. They bought the building in El Prado, right next to the post office. And
Okay, where the barbershop used to be.
Yes, they bought
Nice.
it like right at turnover in the year 1999. They bought it, and they've turned it into an upmarket, which is kind of like a convenience store. It's very, very nice, very good coffee.
Oh, but I hate the sign they put on that building.
What do you mean?
Sorry. They put like a modern sign on that beautiful architectural building.
Oh yeah, but it's style. It's style. It's not like it's one color. They have their color palette. That's upmarket.
Leave it to Ricky to hate on a sponsor there. There you go, man.
Oh my goodness, upmarket! I think I even wrote Jose Posada to find the person that approved that, so I could write him a letter and say, "What the hell's wrong with you? How can you approve that sign on that building?"
Well, when you come to the reunion, we're going to have a cup of coffee there. You can see for
There you
yourself.
go. There you go.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
in
no,
spite of the sign, they are a sponsor for the reunion. And so we'll give them
yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit of love
Sorry,
in
sorry,
spite of
sorry.
the.
The sponsor. I didn't mean to diss on the sponsor, but that sign killed me, man. Crushed me. As Posada, I wrote a thing on it, man.
True, let that. Engel and
Find that
Volkers is
guy's
another.
name, boy. I'm gonna lush him up.
This is our.
What do you mean?
We got that. Check it out. We did our sponsors. We have 3 levels of sponsors: Roosevelt level,
Okay.
Gothos level, and
Nice.
Stevens level.
There you go. Look at you.
So these are all Roosevelt level. Engel and Volkers is a company owned by a St. Mary's School graduate.
Oh, right on.
So
Really?
this person is even Zonian and they don't even know it.
And
And
there's 3 St. Mary's alumni right here.
Yeah.
see,
That's right.
The
there
3
you
of us.
go.
That's right.
I mean, that's as beautiful as you can get. It's still Canal Zone. Carlos Ramon Inchausti is one of their top brass over there, and he's representing Engel and Volkers, which is real estate and relocation services, all levels of income. You want to buy a beach
Nice.
house in Venao, or you want to buy an apartment in Cangrejo, Engel and Volkers.
Okay. Good to
Tommy
know.
Morris, everybody knows Tommy Morris with
Yes,
the
of
Panama
course.
Canal Railway. He's been phenomenal, and he's a Cayuco paddler. All his kids are born and raised down here. He represents the Panama Canal Railway. W&J Construction is Rick Kofer, who
Oh, right on.
I worked in construction with Rick Kofer when I first got back here. He's a conqueror, and now he's doing wonderful in the States. And he came into at the reunion. He said, "I want a sponsor." He's one of those guys that doesn't want anything back. He just wants this thing to be
Wants to help
done
out.
right. Yeah. Cobra Puma Golf is actually the daughter of a Zonian. If you know Wambate, Johnny Bates, his
Okay.
daughter, which his daughter is her name is slipping my mind. I think this is really crappy though. I'm embarrassed. I'll come up with her name for next time. But she's a Zonian, and she's married to a Panamanian guy, or no, I think he's expat, but he's been here so long he knows all the Zonians,
Okay.
all the Zonians, and he represents Cobra Puma Golf. Smart Touch is Roberto Cawas and the Cawas family,
Yeah.
which is classic like me. We're half Panamanian, half American. This is Roberto Cawas. He lives in the States now, but Smart Touch is a marketing and an SEO search engine organizers. They're really
Optimization.
super good. If you have a brand and you want it to explode, you talk to Smart
Yeah.
Touch.
Yep.
And
Good guy.
Goturi is this is Eddie Dolan had this idea. He said, what if people don't want to go on the train and they don't want to do this and they don't want to Chiva, they want to go with their family to do something or with their wife to do a special tour. That's where Goturi steps in. They're not a tour operator. They connect tour operators to people through a high-tech platform.
Okay.
It's owned by Alvaro Hilbrun, who's married to a Zonian, Tanya Juracek. I don't know if you remember Tanya Juracek. She's class of 89. That's why she's in the house. So
Mentioned in the house.
So that's like an Uber tour.
It is. You get the
Right.
app, you press, I want to so go there, blip, boop, pop, swipe your card, there's somebody picks you up and you're in
Right.
Sandblast.
Beautiful. That's awesome.
You know, and it's people, it's hard for people to do a tour now because they don't know who to call. Because tour operators use WhatsApp. And
Sure.
they're great tour operators, but I don't know where to find them. And there's
Correct.
thousands of them. There's no more there's no agencies anymore like there used to be where you could walk in and like say,
Yeah.
here's $2,000. Can you give me a tour? Nobody wants to do that anymore.
Correct.
But
Correct.
GoTouri will vet their partners. One of them is what is it called? Sea Charters?
See Panama.
Sea Panama.
Yeah.
You know, but if you go to GoTouri.com and you look through their stuff, you can go to a soccer game. You can go to
wow.
a basketball game. You
So
can
like
go to
events
sporting.
and stuff too.
Yeah, they do. It's TAA, tours, activities, and attractions. If you want to see a church tour, they'll set you up with a special church tour of Casco Viejo, things like that.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. So the sponsors are this, and we had to actually stop a little bit and say, hey guys, we have to get going with the reunion now. But the
Right.
golf, there's still golf hole sponsors,
Okay.
and they keep popping up. We only have 18 holes on the golf course, but this year we're going to have double the amount of sponsors because they keep people wanting to help
How much are you
contribute.
looking for a whole sponsor?
$200 is a whole sponsor.
Okay. Very
Yeah.
good.
And you get on the banner, you get a marker on the tee box. And then Raina had the idea we're going to take all these tee box markers and put them around the pool during the reunion. So,
Nice.
so you feel
Get a little
like you're
more exposure.
more exposure. You feel like you're at a this crazy event with all these sponsors, and then you take them, put them at the yacht club at night, and definitely get more exposure that way.
Yeah. So as a sponsor, you're not just marketing to the people playing golf. You're going to market to the entire crowd afterwards.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
nice. That's a great deal for $200.
Yeah. It's fun. It's super fun. And
Oh
we
yeah.
thank God for all these people again stepping up. You know, we have a sponsorship committee, we have a jamboree committee, we have special activities committees, and that's what makes reunion happen. And that's what makes the Orlando reunion happen too.
Exactly.
Volunteers, man.
Yep, for sure, and that's what they're always asking for. So make sure that you're doing that. I'm sure Alex could still use some help if you want to volunteer. Get in touch with these guys. Don't forget again, meeventos.com. Look for in the search bar for Canal Zone Reunion, and we'll be able to get you guys, anything you need to know about that. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to come up. I didn't expect that one to show up, but
Over. I thought that was like that news.
I know it's like be quiet. But nonetheless, we've actually gone a lot longer than I anticipated. It's really funny because when Alex and I were chatting earlier in the week, hey, do you mind if I jump on for about 15 minutes to talk about the reunion? I was like, no, absolutely. We've been wanting to do it on here, and unfortunately, we were going to bring Dave on, which we've run out of time to do, but that's fine because Dave, I'd rather give Dave a full hour and a half because he's got some really amazing content, especially what he had to share today with some really really good stuff. So we'll push that back because we are hitting a hard stop right now. We are supposed to come on the air here in about 3 minutes. To do the Tyson Jake Paul fight. I don't know if anybody's on Netflix right now, and if you can give us an update. I don't think they're even walking on right now, so we might have a little bit of a little window there, Ricky. We might
break
back
and
a
get
few minutes.
our next beers and whatnot.
Absolutely, but nonetheless, Alex, thanks again. This ended up being a really really cool segment. We added more to it than just talking about the reunion. We ended up mixing as usual some Canal Zone chat and talk and everything.
Great banter.
It was, man, and a lot of great conversations in the chat. So everybody that joined us in the chat and participated, thank you so much. We love hearing the chats, and hello to everybody. If we didn't get your chat up there, I think we tried to pretty much catch everybody. If not, we'll get you on the rebound. But once again, Alex, thank you so much for joining us. Any last words you want to give anybody before we head out?
Oh, absolutely. Just remember that the Canal Zone is not dead. It's still around. It's still a geographical area. Ever since the first native Indian was here, man, and it's still here, and it's a focal point. And tell your friends about it. Come visit us.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. So 2025 class reunion, Canal Zone reunion, January 22nd to January 26th. A lot of really cool events, guys. As you see on the ticker there, meeventos.com. Look for Canal Zone reunion. They're selling out fast, guys. So don't try and pull that you're a zone and you want some palanca here. You don't get that at the Canal Zone reunion. Unfortunately, there's no palanca there, man. So, just make it happen. Step up. And while we're talking reunion, we still always want volunteers here for the society for the Canal Zone reunion in Orlando. They're always looking for help there as well. So step up and help them out. They deliver a fantastic product for us. So, but anyway, Alex, listen, take care once again, brother. Enjoyed having you on. You have an open invitation anytime you want to come and join us here. Thanks for sharing all your Canal Zone reunion stuff, and thanks for sharing that awesome music that we use here on the show.
Thank you. Love you guys, man. Love you.
And thank you for the fact on the Chiva. That was awesome.
That was really cool. Great little learning back there. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, and keep doing what you guys are doing, man. Keep doing it.
we have a
can't
lot of
even-
fun doing this. It's a
This is
blast.
awesome. This is awesome. SCN. I told my wife I got an SCN thing tonight, and she said, "I remember that SCN. I
Right
remember
on.
that." Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Bueno, Alex,
All right.
cuídate. Have a wonderful weekend, Papa.
You too. Ciao.
Take care.
Hermano, gracias.
And Ricky, that was pretty cool, man. It ended up being a lot different. And again, my apologies to Dave. He was
I
going
looked
to
at the
jump
clock
on.
and I'm just going, Chulo,
I
but it's
did.
Alex, you know.
Well,
We gotta
I
let
was
Alex
waiting
do
for him
whatever
to
he
join
wants.
us. No, and I was waiting for Dave to join us. And then as soon as he was going to come on, I was going to, all right, let me wrap it up and get Alex out of here.
Oh, I'm
So,
sure he's following the show and went, you know what? Let Alex grow, man. Because Alex
yeah,
is
no,
important.
Dave's a good guy. He's got, and you know what? I'm not even going to say because I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I know Dave's got some really cool things going on. You know, he's really embraced this historian role, and he should, because he does an absolutely amazing job talking about the history of the zone and everything that was there. Speaking of the history of the zone, there's a Panama Canal construction documentary in the works. Stay tuned. We're going to bring more of that later on here, but a lot of really exciting stuff with that. I've really learned a lot about building the canal that's just absolutely fascinating. So I'm really excited to bring that forward. But anyhow, Ricky, listen, man, thank you so much. Next week, I think we'll confirm it again here. We'll have Dave on next week to try and get this November episode of the history here, you know, because it's we need that, man. That's what this is all about is the history of the zone. But like you said, this is a great interview with Alex, man. You know, it's a lot of stuff there. What do you got in the works for Bochinche next week? Because we certainly missed out on that Bochinche.
You know, next week we're gonna talk about the year 1979. What was happening that last final year? I remember there was a lot of parties, but we're gonna
Yes,
reminisce and go back into 79 next week.
absolutely.
So looking forward to having you guys back all next week. Jill Dupree, thank you very much for accompanying us. Always happy to see you when you join us. The whole Dupree family, by the way.
Absolutely. 5 generations. That was pretty cool, you know? So, and Jill Burns also, thanks for joining us. Jim Duffus, appreciate your comments. John Hewsome, Laura Kostick, a lot of great comments out there, guys. And Juan Posada, keep doing what you're doing there. That's really awesome stuff. Stay in touch. We're going to bring you on and showcase a lot of that stuff because, again, guys, great channel on Instagram there for Juan Posada. It's called, what is it? Canal Zone PTY, right?
Canal Zone PTY. Yeah.
Great resource there. Yeah, a lot of really cool stuff on there. So, but nonetheless, it's been an interesting show. We kind of ad-libbed a lot of things here, but you know, hey, here we are, and of course, we love to show our icon.
Yeah, William. I mean, 43 shows. We're getting pretty good at this, you know.
Not bad at all. It worked out well. And Alex puts on a great product. So if you're not going to this year's reunion, get ready to sign up for next year. Next year is going to be fun. I will definitely be at the one next year. Ricky, you might be joining this one, or if not, the one next year. But
next year, because it's my class. My class will be doing their stuff there. So
that's right. Excellent. Awesome. Well, anyway, guys, again, thank you so much for joining us. We love having you guys on every Friday night. Look forward to a very cool show. And let our music start here, and then we'll there we go, and then it goes down by itself. The power of automation there. So yeah, again, exciting show every Friday night. The 10 p.m. show for the Tyson fight. We're going to start it in about 15 minutes, guys. We need to take a quick break, and Ricky and I got to retool the studio and get it ready to go. But make sure you join us. Go on Facebook. I posted on several of the Facebook pages of the channel. If not, on the SCN Canal Zone YouTube channel, you can also see the link there for the broadcast. We're going to get on there and watch the fight and have some fun with it. But anyhow, again, thanks for everything, guys. Really enjoyed the show. Ricky, man, get us out of here, man.
Thank you, everybody. Again, we had a lot of people with us. Thank you for all the comments and accompanying us tonight. Listen, guys, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We love you very, very much.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for letting us start your weekend out here at Happy Hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. We will see you guys either in a few minutes or we'll see you next week. Make sure you spread the word, guys. Like and share. Ricky, have a good weekend, Papa.
Peace.
Love that picture there.